Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. Can I hear myself? Yes, I can, I guess. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. This is going to be a group energy healing where I heal 141 people in, I don't remember how many countries, but usually about 11 different countries. And today's date is November. Oh my. November 2025. November 9th. It's Sunday, November 9th. This is the second healing in a set of 3 called the November Triplet set. And the theme for this healing and this whole month of healings is discipline, consistent action, working towards and achieving your own goals. Goals, goals, goals. And I'm going to start my little pretty timer so I can learn to have a better sense of time. Oh, yay. Thank you for my confirmation. That's reassuring. Like that. Talking a bit about the first healing and about the theme, the first healing that we did 3 days ago on Thursday. We did clearing grief, which, you know, I wouldn't have thought was so helpful for discipline and consistent action, working towards your own goals, but apparently it is. So it's a good thing I listened to the angels. I think that the meridian work that we did on the lung and large intestine meridians to help release old grief was surprisingly uplifting and helpful for people in a sort of a productivity, imagining your goals kind of way for people. Mood for most people. Some people had a little problem because they had too much resistance towards being aware of or clearing their old grief. You don't have to be aware of your grief consciously to clear it, but if you've sort of really committed to repressing your grief at some point, at various points in various lifetimes, then it takes a little more nudging to get yourself to clear it. You don't have to feel it though, fortunately, but it's just that the resistance, it becomes very habit forming, you know, the repression and the resistance. But anyway, so the grief helped. The sleep slide unblocking helped people that we did in the last healing to have better sleep. Not everyone, of course, but it was noticeable when I was looking at surveys. The piece with external stuff, like being more at ease when people around you are flipping out or angry or nervous, that was helpful. That we did 3 days ago. So now I'm going to talk about what we're doing today. So we're going to do grief releasing again with the lung meridians and lung and large intestine meridians and their Wei Qi auras. There are 15 Wei Qi auras, and there's one for each of the 12 regular meridians among that 15. So there is a lung meridian Wei Qi aura and a large intestine meridian Wei Qi aura. So those auras are a part of your spirit, but they're there to help you to be present with your meridians and your body, and to nurture and heal and protect those particular meridians. So that helped in the last healing, and we're going to do more of it today, probably with a little bit more emphasis on unblocking those Wei Qi auras than before, because I noticed for some people the amount that we did was just fine, but like I said, for other people that maybe have been overly committed to repressing their grief in the past, it was just a little too stuck. And so the more you unblock the Wei Qi auras and melt those blocks, the more the meridians lighten up, and it's really much easier to be present there and get the junk out and release the grief. And I mentioned it 3 days ago, but I always want to say it because it's not really something you would assume if you didn't know. But with clearing grief, letting it go is really the easy part. When it gets stuck, when your grief gets stuck, but it's also triggered, that's the really unpleasant, heavy stuff that people associate with grief. So clearing it doesn't make it feel that way. Releasing it, getting good at releasing it, is sort of the opposite of the whole, like say if grief becomes overwhelming and you can't stop crying, blah, 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 that's when it's stuck. So we're doing the opposite of that. We're getting rid of it and keeping it flowing out of you and helping you to stop resisting it and hold, because resistance really holds on to it. Release it. So anyway, so we'll work more on that. I don't think what we're doing today with lung and large intestine meridian will be so different than what we did 3 days ago. There'll just be more emphasis on the clearing out the resistance. And so it will probably be more effective than what we did 3 days ago. So I think a key thing for today will be I have a new acronym for everybody. MSHG, which I probably won't normally put the periods there. It's just right now to help you understand that it's an acronym. It stands for most significant, healthy, and gentle blocks. So most MS significant, healthy, HG. I've said H and G before, healthy and gentle. Healthy and gentle, as many of you know already, as I say it all the time, is you want to pace yourself and intuitively aim for only clearing and repairing and healing as much as it's healthy and gentle to do at this time. So then maybe, you nourish and you reground or whatever, and you could do more. But there's always an amount that's like sort of ideal for you to do at any given time. If you were to not do that and just to like get into a frenzy and be like, oh, I have to be perfect now, I'm going to get rid of all this, you could really get yourself into a lot of drama unnecessarily. Like say if you could clear, I don't know, we'll just make it simple and kind of weirdly simple just for the example. So say you could clear 20 blocks at once, right? But you just and that would be healthy and gentle for you, right? So you clear 20 blocks and then you breathe and do something else, and you clear 20 more blocks and you breathe and ground and whatever, and then you do 20 more, and then you go to bed and sleep and have your day tomorrow and clear 20 more blocks. So you would have cleared 80 blocks in that time period, right? But say instead you're like, I'm so sick of being stuck, I'm gonna do it all now. So you clear 80 blocks at once, right? You could actually maybe do it carelessly and get backlash because you didn't like get people out enough, and so you get all this backlash, so you get whacked for like 2 days, and so you feel out of sorts for 2 days. Or like you just maybe if you cleared 80 blocks at once, but 20 is what's healthy and gentle, you might not be able to get present enough. So you clear all this stuff, you're not that present. And so a bunch of, invasive energy gets in, and then you get kind of fried and you just feel like weird, or like your body has trouble catching up. So your body gets a cold. It's like stupid, needless drama, of just going way over what's healthy and gentle. And healthy and gentle is not what I think is healthy and gentle for you. It's your intuitive read on what's uniquely good for you. So a newbie who doesn't, who hasn't had a lot of experience with clearing energy, their healthy and gentle amount would be smaller than somebody who is kind of worked up to, more proficiency and a lot more presence and a lot more grounding. Then their healthy and gentle amount is much. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, so most significant healthy and gentle blocks is we just want to, do like the most key blocks to clear, so that then you get a nice ripple effect afterwards where there's a good chain reaction and things keep clearing. It's like most efficient for you to so it's not just any random 20 blocks you're clearing at once. You're picking the ones that would help you the most. So MSHG, MSHG. So we're going to use that concept a lot today. I don't know how much in the future, but today. So like as we're clearing blocks from the lung meridians and the lung meridian, the large intestine meridian, and those two Wei Qi auras, we can intuitively pick the MSHG blocks for both those meridians and both those Wei Qi auras, like all at once out in front of us. So it's still just the healthy and gentle amount, but it's the most significant blocks, not only in those two meridians, but also in those two Wei Qi auras. So it's kind of like very strategic, as effective as possible within the whole healthy and gentle amount. So I hope that makes sense. So that's what we'll do really throughout the whole healing is MSHG blocks. We'll clear MSHG blocks to, help you clear grief and therefore, be less sort of oppressed by it and more, it helps people just feel more spontaneous, more open to like positive suggestions from their angels or their own ideas, and so it was cool. So we'll do that. But then also we'll do MSHG blocks, clear MSHG blocks for goals and making future plans. So being able to make goals for yourself and also future plans. So goals is interesting because when I was writing out some personal goals recently, it was like I wrote stuff down, but then I was like, well, you know what? Those aren't actually goals. They're activities or areas of focus. And so a goal, it can be more like identity based. For example, you could say, okay, my goal is, to prioritize exercising and stretching, right? So you kind of, with that goal, you're thinking about, okay, I want to exercise and stretch really regularly, right? So you just imagine all these different times where you're exercising and stretching, right? And you think, okay, that's my goal, right? But your goal could be, I want to be healthy, vital, strong, sexual, vibrant. Like your goal can be that identity related of like you. So then you're not imagining yourself doing it every day, although that's what it would take and what it will take. You're imagining like that state, the identity. I want to be strong, vital, healthy, sexual, vibrant, or whatever, fill in the blank for yourself. But see, that way you're working an identity for yourself. You're like, and that's like, it's like a goal state. And not only that, it's like you can already kind of be a little bit of that already, and you just work more and more on it. So I want to be, for example, Like I want to learn Korean, the language, right? And I've started little bits now and then, but I keep putting it to the side again, And I decided, I think it'd be cool. I really do want to do it. And the sooner I start working on it, the easier it'll be. If I keep putting it off, who's going to benefit with that? Nobody, So studying Korean or learning Korean, I had written down as a goal, right? So then I'm imagining all these times where I'm studying Korean, right? But I could have more of an identity kind of level goal where I say, I want to be fluent in Korean, right? So then you're already imagining this fluency. You're already imagining like what you're working towards is fluency in Korean or whatever language you want to learn, if you do want to learn a language. But you see what I'm saying? So rather than like the daily action, the daily consistent action, which is what it would take, think about more like what you're working towards, or kind of like what you want to achieve, the achievement. And I think that is potentially more uplifting. So that may be the way you've already thought about your goals, is you think of that identity level, I want to be fluent, I want to be, strong and fit and sexual and vibrant and, vital, blah, blah, blah. But if you've only been thinking of the daily actions, I would encourage you to, find the identity level accomplishment type form of it, because it's probably more uplifting and more motivational to think of yourself having achieved it, and then keep working towards it. So I hope that makes sense. So like future plans is another thing. They're sort of cousins, goals and future plans. I noticed that some people, grief and fear was keeping them from imagining their own future plans. So maybe like on an astral level, it's already laid out, but they're not conscious of it because of fear or because they have some grief that they're avoiding from their past. And they don't want to get it triggered. And so they're just kind of like foggy about what their future plans are. And it's not that you need to know everything about your future, but I think having some future plans can be motivational and can feed your growth. So we're going to, in this healing, we're going to help support that idea of creating, being clear on your goals and future plans. So we'll clear MSHG blocks in the way of that, which, as I explained, MSHG equals most significant healthy and gentle blocks, right? So we're going to clear MSHG blocks in the way of you having, creating, being aware of, being excited about your goals and future plans. So whatever's in the way of you having goals and future plans that you like and that you're inspired by consciously. Okay, and then sort of a cousin of that is we're going to clear distortions around goals. So clear distortions around goals and future plans. So we'll clear MSHG blocks, anything that's most significant but still healthy and gentle to clear, in the way of you having goals and future plans that are most like beneficial for you, most in line with what you and your higher self and your angels think is best for you. Because sometimes it's definitely possible that any of us can have distortions in our goals and future plans. Like, so there could be loneliness that impacts which goals you choose. Like, for example, in the past, and I'm not saying this is true for everybody, but in the past, when we had 5 pets years ago in Chicago. We had 3 dogs and 4 cats. And then even on top of that, we fostered a cat for a rescue when we already had 5 cats and we already had 3 dogs. So then we had 8 animals in the house for a short period of time, which did not go well. But when I look at what motivated me back then, and again, I'm not saying this is true for everyone, but what motivated me back then, the underlying distortion in my goals was an inner emptiness. Because of, childhood, blah, 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 blah. And I'll spare you the drama on that, but childhood drama, let's say, right? So because of childhood drama, my heart chakra wasn't as strong as it would have ideally been. And so your heart chakra has to do with compassion, empathy, motivation, and enthusiasm as well, glass half full, positive outlook, self-esteem, self-care. But it is possible that you can overgive and have an oversensitivity to the pain and suffering of other beings at the expense of your own wellness and what you're here to do in this lifetime. So you can get distracted by trying to save the whole world, basically. And that's not to say that, perhaps it is a core part of what you're here to do in this life is to make a positive impact, right? But it could be that the distortion is, you go for a certain behavior, like in my case, having 8 rescue animals in your home at once. It's just so funny because that 8th rescue animal, his name was Harry Potter. He was a really overweight cat, very large overweight cat, really sweet cat. But we were fostering him, and my husband I guess at some point, I don't know why, were you the first one to wake up? And he's up late, and it was like in the middle of the night. He would find Harry Potter crapping on our kitchen floor, like taking a crap on our kitchen floor. Was it in the middle of the night that one? What time of day was this? Early morning, so I was already asleep. I was still asleep. So he became this early morning mystery crapper on our kitchen floor. Oh, because the more cats you have in a house, plus you already have 3 dogs, it's like you're really playing Russian roulette with things. Because they're all very territorial and sensitive and, whatever. So that's why I was cracking up. I was imagining the image that I thankfully never saw personally, but I'm very visual, so I really don't need to see it personally. I see it, in my mind, like in Technicolor. But anyway, so now in hindsight's 2020, hopefully, one hopes, I know that it was not a part of my path to have 8 rescue animals in my home at any given time. It was not. It really was not. And it was my inner emptiness that made me more prone to, being sensitive to animal suffering, which is important, But I think, animal rescue people and all that, they're very manipulative. I mean, they mean well, but they're very manipulative, and they just want to rope as many people as possible into saving as many animals as possible. And someone with, self-esteem problems is very easily roped into that kind of a thing. So whereas it was probably more within my, vibrational ideal to have like 2 to 3 rescue animals at any given time max, I went you know, to 7, and then of course 8 temporarily. So anyway, it's just an example of a distortion that you can have inner weaknesses and blocks that create distortions in what you consciously think is a good goal to have for you. You know, what you decide is in your best interest can be heavily influenced by, you know, blocks that make you feel empty, that therefore make you want to fill up your life with more and more rescue animals, you know, whatever. Or just makes you more vulnerable to being manipulated by people in a certain area, you know. So anyway, so we're gonna clear the most significant healthy and gentle blocks to help you have less distortions in your goals and future plans, right? Because you're never going to be perfect, you know, but it is good to kind of be aware that it's possible that you could, you know, the goals you're thinking of might be slightly off as to, like, they might not be exactly what's ideal for you and your life path and what you're really here to do and accomplish and experience. So, you know, it's a good thing to do no matter who you are, you know, just clear blocks so that there's less possibility for distortions in your goals and your future plans. And maybe less poop on your kitchen floor. So I apologize if you're visual and that was not pleasant. Maybe I should talk about something else. Rose petals. How about rose petals? Rose petals and sunshine on the beach and little adorable. Okay, how about this? To make up for the fact of that terrible mental image, I will show some bees napping on flowers. How about that? That's cute, right? Cute. So bees taking little nippy naps on flowers. Isn't that cute? There you go. Happy bees living their best lives, taking their little naps on the beautiful flowers. Okay, great. So then we will again do a sleep slide work and also more you know, MSHG, clearing most significant healthy and gentle blocks in the way of you having better sleep. You know, because it's always great to improve sleep more and more and more and more and more, right? Because I mean, the better sleep you have, it helps restore your body, like you're on a like scientific level. Your body, you know, does all these repairs and cool things when you're asleep. So you know, you want to support that, and plus it just makes you feel better then. So we're going to work the sleep slide and unblock that more and heal it more like we did in the first healing 3 days ago, but also just in general, any MSHG blocks to help you have better sleep. So, and then we will do, hopefully we have time for all this, right? As usual, it takes longer to explain than it does to do, I hope. I hope. Okay, so we did some of this 3 days ago. We worked inner peace around non-peaceful people, which is like mostly everybody. You know, like, can you have more inner calm when you're around somebody who's angry, or when you're around somebody who's nervous? Can you clear your triggers so that that doesn't disturb you? I mean, you can have empathy, but you don't have to suffer with them. So this is a little bit like that, but it's more on an auditory telepathic level. The sometimes people even just you know, they might not have anger or anything really extroverted out loud that you notice, but they're very chattery. You know, they don't have a peaceful mind, they don't have a calm mind, and their telepathy can be oh, what is that term I use? See, I make up terms and then I forget what they are. Broadcast telepathy, that's the one. No, you can use telepathy between, you know, I could telepath to my husband about something, or like he always used to telepath me. He used to get Chipotle a lot for us for dinner like years ago. And he always used to ask me telepathically, "Do you want Chipotle?" like hours before he did consciously. And so that's telepathy, right? Where you say something non-verbally. And if you have an aware partner, then they think it. They're like, "Oh yeah, about Chipotle." And if you have a very aware partner, then they know that they're thinking about it because, you know, so and so just asked them about it. You know, so that's telepathy, conscious telepathy. But subconscious telepathy happens all the time. But then there's broadcast telepathy, which is not so directed and concise. And it's more like you're just shouting it out to the world. You know, like, "I want Chipotle." You know, and many people aren't aware that they're doing the broadcast telepathy. So they might be like having sort of an inner scream moment about how stressed out they are, and they're literally broadcasting all that trauma to like everyone around them. Like I notice when people are on, because we can see out to like the street, and people go on walks, and sometimes we have some people that you know, good for them, they're going on walks, right? You know, but like one person comes to mind where she's depressed, but she's depressed in a very loud way. Like when she walks by, I will like look up no matter what I'm doing. Cause it's like, what is that? You know, and then I see her walking by. But it's like, it's not like a very inward depression. It's like almost like a wail that she emits that's just really loud and broadcasted. I'm sure she has no idea, and she would flip the flip out if I ever explained it to her. So I'm not going to say jack about it, you know, but I'm just saying that's an example of external noise, and, you know, that she's not aware of. She doesn't mean any harm by it, you know, but it's a noise, and it, if you don't have good boundaries, not only would you look up, but it could actually get you depressed if you were to perceive somebody else, you know, wailing about, you know, how they feel bad and they're lonely and this and that, you know, and it could, you know, make you lonely, make you feel lonely and all that just by witnessing that public broadcast of, you know, sadness and loneliness and tears, you know. And politically, you know, I'll speak for the US just a teeny. My you know, I don't really talk politically much on these live streams anymore, by choice, on purpose. But you know, I think it's safe to say there's a lot of political turmoil in the US. And it's very loud, you know, psychically, like people arguing, people screaming at each other, people um channeling invasive energies towards groups of people, you know, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of madness going on, psychically speaking. So to have boundaries with that is really beneficial. So we're going to clear MSHG blocks, you know, most significant healthy and gentle blocks, to clear right now for you, so that you can have more and more boundaries with external noise and chaos, that you can have more inner peace, even though all that's occurring. Yeah, your neighbor's walking by wailing about her loneliness and sadness, and, you know, the whole, you know, half, maybe about 20% of the people in your country are screaming at each other very loudly, telepathically. You know, all sorts of dramas happening. Maybe your partner or one of your close friends is broadcasting a lot of turmoil, accidentally, you know. So can you have um silence. And you have peace and silence, despite all that. So that's probably the most enjoyable part of the healing for me already, I can tell. Especially if you have a profession like mine. I've read thousands of people over the years. I've been doing this profession of reading, healing, teaching for full-time professionally since 2001. So that's 24 years, and I've read thousands of people. So, and telepathically, a lot of people will, maybe they got 2 readings from me back in 2024, or 2004 maybe. But then telepathically, they keep asking me questions on a spirit level. They're not emailing me to get a session anymore, but on a spirit level, they just keep asking, they just keep, broadcasting their discomfort and their troubles and their worries and what they want to know. And, it's just the way it is with a profession like this. And, that could be the case with teachers, therapists, any kind of helping profession, that on a spirit level, people are likely to not be very diplomatic telepathically, and they kind of get into a pattern, so like every time, if I read somebody for 2 years, 15 years ago, maybe like every time they catch a cold, they're asking me questions all day long about what they should do to get better. Are they getting a session from me? Are they getting these group healings from me? Not at all. Are they contacting me consciously at all? No. It's just, there's just psychic communication and pressure and noise. So, but you can have boundaries with it. It's possible. And really enjoyable to get better at. I gotta say. Okay, so that's today. So I'm going to look at the pre-healing chat comments. We have a couple, and then I will do 3 minutes of quiet before I start the healing. And towards the end of the 3 minutes of quiet, during the quiet, I will be just chilling out and finishing some prep and saying hi on a spirit level to the 141 people that I'll be healing. And then towards the end of that, I'll start the healing, but I won't talk for just like a minute. And then after that, the whole rest of the healing, I'll say out loud what I'm doing as I do it. So you could, even if you have no experience, but you're feeling adventurous, you could heal yourself as you listen and do what I explain as your own self-healing little adventure. And it's an all levels walkthrough. Obviously, there will be stuff that is engaging and interesting, even if you're super advanced or if you're a newbie, a bold newbie, either way, or somewhere in between. All righty. So pre-healing chat comments. We can see and hear you. Thank you. Hi, Janet and everyone from Las Vegas, Nevada. Sunny 80 degrees day. Ooh, doesn't that sound nice? See, I would still have tomatoes growing outside if that were the case, instead of like a whole bunch of ripe tomatoes that we can barely keep up with in the house. We have a lot of like leftover, we have a lot of like cherry tomatoes still, and like little runt tomatoes that didn't get to grow to full size. But they're still tasty. And they're ripening in the house. But that's nice for you. I'm glad. I hope you enjoy it. Your weather. Someone says, hi from Chicago, 30s and cold. It snowed today. Yes, I was aware of that because my husband was watching a football game on TV. And he said, wow, Chicago is cold and snowy. So, but I'm glad. I guess the Bears won. Woohoo. So some people are happy in Chicago now. Someone says, good evening from Muckamore, Northern Ireland. Well, hello to you. Hello. Someone says, excited for this goals and future plans work. I know, me too. Someone says, my parents always accumulate too many pets as well. I think they have inner emptiness too. Super interesting. Yeah. Inner emptiness is one of those things it's not good in animal rescue situations, and it's also not good with dating situations. For me, it made me a lot less choosy about my partners, which in retrospect was not advantageous for me. Should have been a little more choosy as to the who. Should have let my angels pick for me. I did eventually, but it took me a while. Took me a long while, actually. So yes, inner emptiness and self-esteem issues are very problematic. Someone says, I definitely have blocks that make me feel empty. Love the idea of clearing them. Yeah. It's blocks and also a lack of nourishment. So it's both. You know, it's clearing blocks, but then also nourish. And think of like, specifically your heart chakra, but in general, are these chakras generating enough volume of energy? Because it's like with a dishwasher, you know, if you have enough water, you can scrub off all the junk off the plates and everything in your dishwasher. And so if your fourth chakra is generating enough energy, it can unblock more automatically on a regular basis without you having to clear every damn one yourself, you know? So you like my dishwasher image of your aura as your aura and your chakras as an inner dishwasher. Come on, everyone, do the dishwasher. All right, spiritual dishwasher, rock and roll. Okay. La la la. Someone says, hello, Janet can see and hear you. Okay, well, that's good. And energetically, is inner emptiness caused by blocks or deprivation? Aha! See? I just answered that question. Kind of both, yeah. Someone gives me a thumbs up. Well, hello to you. Oh, and speaking of which, yeah, if you could give this live stream and or video later a thumbs up, that would be very helpful. And here's my thumbs up for everybody watching. Yay for you guys. Go, 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 my little energy healing rock stars. Someone, tomato emojis, yeah. Great dishwasher and aura analogy. Oh, good. I'm glad you like my dishwasher analogy. Metaphor. I don't know what the difference is between a metaphor and an analogy. I'll have to look that up. I'm a little fuzzy on that. And we have a dancing emoji. Thank you. Happy dancer. What do you think is the main cause of chronic illnesses? Da, 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 da. I don't know. I mean, that seems like it's I wouldn't want to overgeneralize and say the main cause of all illnesses. You know, I mean, some illnesses maybe are part of your life plan that your angels and you thought up so that you can learn something. Maybe you can be forced to, you know, fix like imbalances as far as, you know, how much you're giving to yourself versus giving to others, you know, or, you know, some kind of a challenge in order to, you know, grow and all that. Or maybe some illnesses I'm sure are unnecessary, but it happens, you know, because maybe you had too much aura and chakra damage, so your auras weren't able to protect your body enough, so then your body broke down in certain ways. But yeah, I don't think there's any one thing I could say that would be intelligent with that. You know, they're different things. Some of it's meant to be, and some of it's unnecessary drama that could be avoided through, you know, taking more care of yourself and your energy and your mind and your emotions and your diet and all that lifestyle, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, depends is the official answer. It depends. So it gives you a thumbs up. Thank you. What's your favorite herb? Wow. A lot of a lot of general big questions. I don't have a favorite herb. I mean, if I had a headache, favorite herb would be feverfew. I don't often have headaches, but once in a blue moon I do. Headaches a lot of times are just caused by energy wax and, chakra damage and meridian damage and stuff. So that's probably why I don't have a lot of wax, because I feel them before they become, I don't have a lot of headaches because I tend to feel all that damage way before it progresses to be actual pain, physical enough to be a headache. So I kind of nip it in the bud a lot so I don't get the headache part. And I'm also really careful about what I eat. So like the inner eat cold imbalances, I try to be very careful with that and with what I eat and stuff. And but if I did have a headache, I would want feverfew as an herb. Feverfew herb. There used to be a migrafew, a product called migrafew, which was really handy, and we have like one bottle left. we bought them up a lot back, I don't know, 15 years ago, when my husband used to get very regular headaches, so he took migrafew one a day every day. But it's just feverfew herb, but it's like a concentrated form of it. But anyway, so I guess whatever herb I need at the time is my favorite herb. There's not one all time for me. Someone says, could you give a couple examples of nourishing due to deficiencies? Well, from an energy healing perspective, you can nourish with energy healing flowers. We do that a lot. Maybe not enough though, because we're always clearing. But then, but in the last healing, we did it at least once. We made energy healing flowers out of universal healing energy, and you give them to yourself. You set them to just the right, with your intention, you set them to just the right vibration that you need to nourish in whatever way. You think about like, okay, like before I knew about aura repair, I would make energy healing flowers for a stronger aura, and that really helped. And I didn't realize that was like, that was sort of before I knew how to just literally just repair your aura. So I would make energy healing flowers for a stronger aura, stronger auras. So energy healing flowers is probably the predominant way that we have in these healings done nourishing techniques. Also, when we did yin yang balance stuff, a couple months ago, maybe 2 and 3 months ago, maybe, if I had to guess when it was. But any yin yang balancing stuff is technically nourishing, because your yin, all your meridians and energy chakras and whatever that are yin quality, and all your yang aspects and chakras and meridians or whatever, they support each other and nourish each other. So if you bring them into balance, then they kind of self-support. Whereas if you're, one is much weaker and one is too out of whack, therefore, then it's not really nourishing itself, But if you clear blocks and whatever to balance your yin and your yang, then they keep nourishing and strengthening each other. So that's another thing we did that was on the nourishing side, if that makes sense. But basically, if your chakras are generating enough energy, that's nourishing. Because you can have a chakra that it's not generating enough energy because it's blocked. Like there's this big, junk right here, and it just can't suck the energy in. It just can't do it. So it's like overworking, trying to circulate energy for you. And when you unblock it, it can do its job. And what its job is to keep the energy flowing and to generate more energy. All your chakras are generators. So anything you do to make your chakras generate more and more energy, like unblocking it, getting rid of devices, repairing them, that having more energy is nourishing, right? So I guess the repairs that we do are technically nourishing, in effect, because they enabled your, whatever. That's all related. Blah, 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 blah. Is that echinacea flower on your background picture? Yes, that is echinacea. Yes. probably 2 different varieties, and I have long since forgotten which varieties of echinacea that is. I have all sorts of different echinacea in my yard because I'm not as obsessed as I used to be, but echinacea for me is like, it's probably a past life thing because I never have echinacea tea. Like, I mean, I could, but I just don't. Because I know that there's those are all seeds, and I have such a love for seeds and like their potential. And I was just saying the other day, like I had this giant, like it's like 6 feet tall thing. It's called like a Mexican sunflower, but I don't know really if that's an accurate. But that's I think what it was called, and it had all these flowers. It was just giant, and but it came from one seed, you know. So I have this real reverence for seed, you know, and because I like growing things from seed, and it's just amazing that you can get this wildly cool plant that's pretty huge, and produces so much, you know, basil or tomatoes or whatever from just one seed. You know, it's really incredible. So to take one of those flower heads, you know, dry it, and then just use it for my tea. It just I don't know. It's hard for me to get myself to do that. Because I think, oh, those are such cool seeds, you know. So whatever. But I really have a thing for echinacea. But anyway, someone says, "How did you learn how to do all this? I love your way of teaching and explaining. Thank you." Well, it's part of what I was meant to learn. So many factors ended up pointing me in this direction. But a lot of daily practice, basically, what it boils down to. I wasn't like, born as a conscious psychic. I was born in a home that really thinks this kind of stuff is ridiculous and a waste of time and insane. Which is one of many reasons why I am not in contact with my genetic family. But anyway, so yeah, practice is how I learned all this. Someone says, "Hi Janet, sorry I didn't get my survey in. I forgive you." But I felt super great afterwards. Oh, that's nice to know. The day prior to the healing, I was having such a bad day, and I think I was out of most of my chakras. Ouch. Friday, I felt so good after the healing. Oh, that's nice. And I worked a 26-hour shift, and it was hard, but smoother than usual. That's nice. I'm glad. I have to go turn my phone off. My husband always makes fun of me that my phone is never near me. So hold on a sec. Our dog gets medication every 8 hours, so that was his medication reminder, which my husband's going to take care of. I don't feel guilty that he takes care of some of them because I take care of the 7:45 a.m. one, which is delightful, I must say. Having to wake up precisely at 7:45 a.m. is just priceless. I'm being sarcastic. But anyway, is what it is. Okay, well, thanks everybody for your chat comments. Believe it or not, chat comments actually help the video, which is really odd, but that's the way YouTube computers think. So now I'm going to do the 3 minutes of quiet before the healing starts. Okay, thanks for waiting. So I think we'll move on from the sleeping bees. They're wonderful. I love them. We will do some other stuff. Oh, it's some, yeah, peaceful ocean, beachy kind of vibe. Okie doke. So, grounding, let's do that. So your grounding is your connection to the core of the earth, and it is really good for not getting involved in the chaos around you. So you can recreate your grounding. Make a brand new 2 groundings, one for your body stuff, one for your spirit stuff. You can make them both the same color, so you're more likely to be on the same page with your body and therefore be more present, more capable when you're awake. So make them both red or orange or yellow, both the same color, wide all the way down to the core of the earth. So as wide as all your auras, make both your groundings wide and flowing downward, really strong downward flow. And then you can make a copy out in front of you of those groundings and use gold light from your hands to wash out your ground. You know, let me turn on the light behind me, because otherwise it seems like I'm in like a fish tank or something. Okay. Not that that's a terrible image, I guess, of me being in a fish tank, but a little odd. A little too odd. I'm already odd. Okay, so big red or orange or yellow grounding, fast downward flow. If it's not fast, it's just because it's a little clogged. So you find the clogs and you melt them with gold light from your hands. How the heck does your hands generate gold light? Well, you have a big energy center in the palm of each hand and one in each fingertip. And with your intention, your thought, you set them to a metallic gold color. Just those energy centers, hand and fingertip chakras, to metallic gold color. You just think it, boop, they're gold, boom. And so as they spin, they generate gold light. And you use the gold light from one hand to unclog the energy centers in the other hand, like gold soap and water. Unclog, unclog, unclog. Wash it all out. Wash everybody's energy away from your hands and your wrists. You can make a copy out in front of you of your hands if you want and heal them that way. But hand healing is pretty simple to do directly. Either way. And then you use the gold light from your hands to melt blocks and unclog, help you let go. So just sweep together all the blocks in your grounding and surround them in so much gold light, saturate them in so much gold light that they melt away. Sweep the blocks together, saturate them in so much gold light that they all melt away. Nice, fast downward flow. All right. So, inner peace, right? So take a few deep breaths, breathe into your legs, breathe into your feet, breathe into your shoulders. Be aware of your own inner peace or lack thereof. Maybe you are doing a silent scream out to the universe. So if you you could do it, you could put your hands around your throat chakra, your 5th chakra if you want, and just use gold light for your hands to calm down your inner voice. Calm it down. I told someone just today, chill the fuck out. Excuse my French. If any kids are listening, I am a very old lady. So when you're as old as I am, you get to swear. Not until then. So imagine your chakras, all your major chakras are along your spine. So just run gold light up and down your spine, make a copy of yourself out in front of you, run gold light up and down your spine, and just chill the fuck out. Just use gold light to calm your chakras down. Sure, some of them aren't spinning fast enough, but then some might be overspinning, kind of like a truck that's caught in a ditch and it's like, yeah. So it could be that some of your chakras are overspinning. So just calm them down. Like think about the healthy vibrational rate for all your energy centers and just reset yourself. Because if you don't reset yourself, guess what your body matches? It tends to match whatever's around you. The chaos, the fears, the anxiety, whatever. You know, your neighbor walking down the street doing a telepathic wail to the world. You know, your body could actually match that unless you set your body yourself, either consciously or subconsciously. It doesn't just happen. You have to, on some level, even just subconsciously, you have to reset and don't match all the chaos. Don't match all the fear. Just you set, you know, what do you want? You want confidence? You want discipline? Positive discipline, you know, positive, consistent action towards your goals. Positive, healthy goals, right? So as you run gold light through all your energy centers, through all your auras, just remind yourself of that and reset, okay? Inner peace. There's a level of inner peace that will help you to restore, help you to center, help you to have clarity, right? Because if you have too much noise inside, you can't think straight and you can more easily get distorted ideas and goals that aren't ideal for you, right? So just wash out all the distortions with gold light from your hands, wash out the chaos, wash it all the way down to the core of the earth. You won't hurt the earth. The core of the earth can just neutralize it and the energy goes where it. So you're not going to make the core of the earth chaotic. It's just you wash it all down, gold light, melt it all away. Any leftovers go to the core of the earth. Gold light, wash all the chaos out. Reset, set yourself to the ideal vibration for your goals, your motivation, your balance, your nourishment. All right, a couple deep breaths. All right, good job. Woohoo. Yay. Woo. You're amazing. All right. Okay, so I talk a lot about the 5 essentials, which is grounding, aura repair, creative repair, chakra repair, and back here stuff. Base of skull, acupuncture points, and things called good karma windows back here, which are like back doors into your astral body aura. And they just help you bring in positive stuff. And if you keep them safe, then stronger boundaries, focus. So those are all the 5 essentials. Why are they the 5 essentials? Because if you get screwed up, if someone whacks the crap out of you, those are the things you need to double check and fix, most likely, to, you know, feel better as fast as possible. So those are the 5 essentials. But grounding, we already did that, right? Just now. So we'll do the other 4 essentials that I just listed. So 4 essentials, freestyle. So I'll just, you know, kind of mush them all together. Sometimes I'm very regimented and I'm like, no, we're doing aura repair, boop. No, we're doing creative ring repair, boop. But it gets boring for me to separate them so much because it's just boring. So it's good, but you know, sometimes I get bored. So I'll just blur them all together. So it'll be aura repair, chakra repair, creative ring repair, and then back of head stuff. All that stuff. Good karma windows, base of skull. Okay. So take a copy out in front of you of your everything, comb through it. Tune into what you need the most of those 4 things. And if you weren't, you know, doing a walkthrough with me, you would just see what do you need the most of all those things. I'm looking at this moment, people need the most like chakra alignment and unblocking, because it's like, you know, your major chakras are along your spine and they can be like misoriented. So like one's this way, one's this way, one's this way. So they kind of don't work together as well as if they're all just like really lined up properly. So you can like heal one to the point with gold light to the point where it just clicks into alignment, like a seatbelt sound, like click when you put in the seatbelt. So you get your 7th chakra in alignment, the top one with gold light, until you feel like, okay, yeah, I think that's where it should be. And then the 6th chakra, let that one click into alignment. 5th chakra, let that one click into alignment. 4th chakra, that one click into alignment. 3, 2, 1. Sticky gold wax is fun for your chakras. Like initially, a long time ago, I used to think of sticky gold wax kind of like if someone was to wax their legs and take the hair off, which is incredibly painful. And I've only had that done like once in my life. But anyway, you can do that with chakras and it doesn't hurt. So you imagine all your major chakras along your spine. So 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And you know, they're all open cylinder shape like this. 7 is like this, and then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 are like this. Round opening in the front, round opening in the back. But you imagine them all. It doesn't have to be perfectly. You just say, okay, this is a copy of all my chakras. You know, 7 astral chakras and 7 physical chakras. And then just sticky gold wax the whole thing. So gold wax the whole thing. Have the gold light stick to everything that's not you, that is healthy and gentle to get rid of right now. Right? And then you could remove it like when they wax the legs, they just rip off a whole sheet at once. But again, for energy healing, it's not painful if you do that. So you go wax your chakras and then and give that chunk to your angels, and then do the other side. Give that chunk to your angels. So one more time, sticky gold wax your 7 chakras. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. So so you don't want to be leaky. You know, you can, if you get damaged, energy leaks, kind of like a leak in a hose or a leak in your tire. And that's no good. You're more likely to feel drained if you have a lot of leaks. And it's just like, it's like an open door to invasive people and invasive energies if you have leaky energy. So, you want to repair damage so that things don't leak. So like damage to your auras, damage to your creative rings. Creative rings are 3 gold rings above your head. So they can get bashed up and broken. They can get cords going in them for other people. So you just imagine these 3 gold rings, a copy of your 3 gold rings, and just use gold light. And with your intention, you know, you just use lots of gold light, and the gold light will repair and melt away other people and melt cords, melt energy blocks. So having unblocked creative rings can make it easier to wake up in the morning. I mean, it's not the only factor, but it is one thing that can make it easier to wake up because they're right here. And you, as a spirit, when you wake up, you come this way down through your creative rings into your major chakras from above. So if there's a bunch of crap up here, then it's like you're kind of like lost in the crap. So, yep. So people that are very attached to coffee, a lot of times they'll have like completely messed up creative rings. So the coffee like jams them back in through the creative rings. Because they're not going to really get there without it. So prepare your creative rings so you don't need coffee so much. You don't feel the need for coffee so much. Your creative rings have flaps, just like your chakra round openings have flaps. So this is what they look like when they're irritated. This is not what you want, but it's nice to know what it looks like so you can kind of check like the round outer surface of your creative rings and see if the flaps are sticking. If they're sticking out like that, that means the creative ring is irritated. Like a puffer fish, it puffs out when it's irritated. So the same thing, like the openings of the chakras and the creative rings, they puff, the flaps puff open if the chakra's irritated or the creative ring is irritated. So just keep melting away everybody else's energy, everybody else's cords, so that the flaps can relax. It's sort of like the difference between like a stormy sea and like calm, gentle waters. You know, when the flaps shut, it's like, ah. So just give yourself no more stormy seas. Just, repair these creative rings, melt the cords. You can say too, angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with my chakras or my creative rings, can you please recycle them? And that works. You don't even have to, you have angels even if you didn't know you have them. Just say angels and they know and hear and blah, blah, blah. Angels, can you please recycle any invasive beings messing with my creative rings or my chakras? So, aura repair, let's do that. So we're going to do composite copy or repair because you could repair like one area at a time that's like kicked in and ripped up. But to repair them all at once, we're going to use composite copy technique. So that's where you imagine, you create an image of a rip and you say, okay, well, this rip represents all the rips that I currently have in my 17 auras. And as I repair this, I'll be repairing all those rips at the same time. So you have your composite copy rip and you want to clean it out using sticky gold wax. So you fill it up with sticky gold wax. It's just with your intention. Gold light that sticks to everything that's not you, forms a lump, and then you lift out the lump all at once. All that junk. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, lift out all that junk. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, all that junk. Angels, here you go. And you can say to angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this repair, can you please recycle them? And just get the gold light as deep as you can so that the wound repairs. And if you watch any like Marvel movies, based on comic books, Wolverine, he had this ability where if he got cut, it would heal itself, and it looks kind of a lot like aura repair. I mean, it was CGI they did, but like he would get this big gash and then it would just repair itself. And that's what it looks like really if you're filling up with gold light, it just grows back. Your aura, the rip in your aura, it just goes away because your aura grows back. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Is some kind of was it an SNL skit or something? There's some, I don't know what that's from, but This actress would be like, it's pretty cool. Maybe Lorenzo can remind me what the heck that's from. But anyway, so that's aura repair. Is that good enough? We'll do it one time again really quickly in case you have any leftover rips. So image of a rip, have it represent all your leftover rips, sticky gold wax, get out the junk, sticky gold wax. Can you take the junk? And then let it grow back, just like Wolverine. Gold light, repair your rips. And then just double check. You don't want any leaks. So run your hands around the outer surface of all your auras. Yeah, if you feel any leaks, like, like air popping out of a tire, like, psst, just use a lot of gold light that can repair. You can redo your gold buffer zones. Gold buffer zones are just big gold flowy force fields that you create and you attach to the edge of your astral body aura and your physical body aura. So that if someone wants to, rip through your auras, they have to whack through that first. So it's nice and flowy and you just recreate them whenever you want. It just takes an instant to recreate your gold buffer. And I do have a video where I talk about that. You search Janet Wright gold buffer zones, you would find YouTube. It's 18 minutes long. I have this need to be centered in the camera does not. Good enough. Chakra repair. So this is what chakras look like. Open cylinder. Obviously, some are much smaller than this. Some are much bigger than this. But let's make a composite copy of a chakra that looks roughly like that. And with your intention, you say, okay, well, this represents all my major and minor chakras of my body and my spirit. So every energy center that you have, right? And then just repair it with gold light and unblock it and melt cords. So gold light does all that. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to overthink it. Just use lots of gold light. And you could think about, it's okay to have peace. It's okay to have inner peace. It's okay to be whole and vital and healthy. Okay. You could even use like the sense of time in a positive way and just say, I'm too old for the drama, or it's time for me to be strong and vital. It's time now for me to be strong and vital. Time for me to release the distractions, to release the distortions. Time for me to have self-awareness. Time for me to be strong. Gold light, just let all the drama melt away. Everybody else's energy just wash out. You want to heal and unblock to the extent that's healthy and gentle to do right now. All right, and melt cords from other people going into your chakras with gold light just way. And you can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with my chakras, can you please recycle them? So you can check your chakras again up and down your spine, your major chakras. See if the repair helped. Comb above your head, your auras, comb below your feet, below your butt, below your feet, and your auras. Make sure your grounding is still wide and unblocked. It might have blocked up since we last checked on it, so melt away the blocks in your grounding. Again, it's okay to release the chaos, the angst from those around you. You're not helping them by suffering with them. You can just have empathy without, you know, screwing yourself over. So let go of all that tragedy and sadness and yuckiness. Allow your chakras to generate vitality, strength, inspiration for yourself, confidence, safety, that good stuff. Couple deep breaths. All right, so back of head stuff, good karma windows, which I usually say GKW for short, good karma windows. So those are in the back here. Like I said, those are the back doors into your astral body aura in the back. And they're good unless they're damaged, in which case you're screwed. So when they're whole and working nicely, then you only bring in the good stuff, what you want, you know, your inspiration energy, your new, you know, hopefulness, your new serenity that maybe you made in your sleep with your angels. You bring it in. You can bring it in various different ways, but that's one way to bring it in. But if they're damaged, then invasive energy can work its way in and kind of mess with your focus and your ability to, you know, function well. So we can repair these good karma windows and also your base of skull points. We can heal those too. So imagine those good karma windows. Use lots of gold light. Bring up red earth energy. Soak them in red earth energy. Lots of gold light. And that external chaos could be working its way through the good karma windows if you have any damage here. So just heal the damage and get the invasive energy out that has like worked its way in, if there is any. Just grab it, freeze it, and give it to your angels. So grab the part of it that's in your chakras and the part of it that's here, and just freeze it, lift it out. Angels, here you go. Freeze it, lift it, here you go. So what is all that? It could be energy from a coworker, a relative, a neighbor, a political party, a animal rescue organization. Could be a bunch of stuff. So you don't have to worry about what it is. Just if it's not you, it's got to go. So gold light, yank it out. Angels, here you go. Yank it out. Angels, here you go. And then repair everything so that it's not so easy for stuff to come back. So base of skull points. Loving this diagram. So base of skull points, that's those two horizontal rows of dots in the diagram, one at the level of the top of the earlobe, one at the level of the bottom of the earlobe. So those are all the base of skull points. So they're all chakras. So you can use gold light and unblock and heal them. And unblock the auras behind them. You have a lot of really tight, hard junk. So like here's your base of skull points, right? So then all your auras are one big bubble all around you, right? Front and back, everywhere. So then you can have energy blocks right here and also right here. Usually the inner energy blocks correspond to also more here. So then you just melt both sets, the more outer ones and the more inner ones. So let up pressure here. You want flow. You don't want like hard plates of energy. Hard plates of energy weaken your auras. Really uncomfortable if you're sensitive. So comb through your base of skull points, like with your, you have a copy out in front of you of your head, and then you comb through with your fingers and drag out the junk that's healthy and gentle to get rid of right now, right? Drag out the junk. Use so much gold light. Say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And keep using gold light and just melt people out. And melt all the. Okay, so comb through the back of your head. Drag out all the junk and drama. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And use a lot of gold light. Melt cords from people. Melt your own resistance out. Melt everything out of the blocks so that they melt away easily, or you could blow them up. You can give yourself a little massage in the back of your head, and you can give yourself a grounding just for the back of your head that's red, going all the way down to the core of the earth. Why would you do that? Well, grounding is bi-directional, right? So you release through it, and you can also bring up earth energy through it from the core of the earth all the way up. So you can bring up red earth energy through that directly to the base of skull area, which is nice and comforting. The angels, can you recycle any invasive beings messing with the base of skull area? Then you can have blocks right close to your body, which I would call more your core blocks, and then ones that are more peripheral blocks in the outer parts of your auras that kind of match them. So get both sets of blocks, the inner and the outer sets of blocks around your base of skull area. Alrighty, you're a rock star. Comb through everything, double check. How do you feel? All your auras. Come up and down your spine with gold light. Come through your groundings. Redo your gold buffer zones. All right, so that concludes the 5 essentials. Good job. Let's do some butterflies to celebrate how fabulous you are. Well, first we'll do confetti. We'll add. Woo! You're amazing. All righty. Okie dokie. So, let's do more sleep slide stuff. Right? Why not? So good sleep is priceless, basically. And So sleep slide is one way we're going to work it. And then we're also going to just clear MSHG blocks, most significant blocks that are healthy and gentle to clear right now for you. Most significant MSHG, healthy and gentle, MSHG blocks. So first we'll do the sleep slide though. So the sleep slide is a literal connection that you have to the astral. You can imagine it like a water slide where you can go up and down. How cool is that? You can imagine it like green and gold. That's usually the colors the angels suggest to me for it. And it's like from your 7th and your creative rings up to the astral view. It's a connection just for you. It's your sleep slide. So you can imagine it and imagine if there are blocks and melt them away, because you want to be able to go to sleep easily. And then if you wake up, say you have to use the bathroom, you go back to sleep, you want to sleep again, you want to fall back asleep easily, right? So having a nice unblocked sleep slide helps you with that. So you imagine your sleep slide and imagine any blocks that would get in the way of you having good sleep and getting to sleep easily and staying asleep. Imagine those as blocks on your sleep slide and melt them away with gold light from your hands. Some of those blocks, they're there, but they also are there because you have blocks in other places. But if you clear the blocks from your sleep slide, you're also clearing, wherever they were, be it in the back of your layer of your aura, blah, blah, blah. So just unblock your sleep slide. And so the going back to sleep stuff or getting to sleep, that's this way, right? When you're going up to the astral. And when you wake up, it's coming back down your sleep slide. And there are different blocks that might impact you then. And you want to make sure it's kind of nice and clear. And sometimes you could, when you're half asleep, if you have a second, you don't have to hit the ground running right away. You can stay up there for a sec and check out your sleep slide and unblock it enough so that you can bring more cool stuff in with you. Cool stuff meaning, inspiration, ideas, confidence, motivation, remembering some idea or goal that you thought up in your sleep, all that good stuff, right? So imagine your sleep slide and the route back down that you have and what might get in the way of you bringing in the cool stuff. Yeah, just melt all that away. You want to be able to bring in as much as is healthy, right? So as much inspiration, confidence, goals, dreams, wisdom, right? So if there's sometimes there's invasive beings connected to the sleep slide. You say, angels, if there are any invasive beings connected to the sleep slide, can you recycle them, please? And sometimes that can look like sort of like a fog on your sleep slide. So you just have your angels recycle those invasive beings. And sometimes somebody else's energy can be there. Sometimes that's like a parent, maybe they were in charge of waking you up in the morning for school or something. And so they just got used to being invasive in your sleep process. But, it's not really healthy. Even if you are a kid and they're waking you up to go to school, it's not healthy for that person, the parent, to be on the kid's sleep slide. So just anything like that on your sleep slide, any parent, any sibling, any teacher, anybody on your sleep slide, they don't belong there. It's for you and your angels are respectful. They're going to stay off your sleep slide. They're going to stay out of your aura. They help you, they advise you, but they're not like standing there in the middle of it all. If anything is standing in the middle of it all, it's not an angel. So as angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way here? You can even make like a nice flowy gold protective force field for your sleep slide to help have it be just for you, both on the way out and on the way in. Nice and safe and just for you. Alrighty, good job, good job. So that was sleep slide, basic sleep slide stuff. Good job. So then now we will do also to help sleep. So for better and better and better and better and better sleep, we will so for better sleep, we will clear blocks that are most significant, that would help you the most to clear, but they are healthy and gentle for you to clear at this time. So you know it's not going to be too much to do right now. So I'm just going to say MSHG blocks. So we're going to put out in front of you any MSHG blocks so that you can improve your sleep. So any MSHG blocks that are in the way of your having better and better sleep, right? Put all those blocks out in front of you. Bring up red earth energy, soak those blocks in red earth energy. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into these blocks, can you recycle them? And then use gold light from your hands, melt cords from people, melt cords from yourself going into these blocks. Just wash everybody out of these blocks. Wash your own resistance out of these blocks. And at that point, they should just all start fully melting away. But if not, you could blow them up as well. Deep breath. So again, and some people like putting energy blocks on a gold blanket first and then working them, but you don't have to. So just put out in front of you whatever energy blocks are MSHG, most significant and healthy and gentle, still healthy and gentle, blocks that you could clear to improve your sleep, right? So any MSHG blocks to improve your sleep. Lots of gold light, bring up red earth energy. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Use gold light, melt away cords from people, melt out your own resistance. And just let the blocks melt fully. Or blow them up. And if there are any left over, you wrap them up in gold light, give them to your angels. Angels, can you help me with these? Okay. So then a third way that we could help sleep too is healing flowers, right? So we can give yourself and your body energy healing flowers to nourish you, to help you, get ready for sleep. Because a lot of times, people have this impression like, okay, well, I can just run myself ragged all day and then that'll exhaust me, so I'll have great sleep. If only that were the case. Sleeping is a bit like, it's potentially easy to have good sleep, but it's also potentially not easy to have good sleep. There's certain chakra damage that could get in the way because you could have too much, you wouldn't have strong enough boundaries with the chaos of the world. And so you'd stay jittery, like restless leg syndrome and all that stuff, and just feel jumpy and whatever. So let's nourish. So one way to have better sleep is to take better care of yourself during the day and not just kind of ignore how shitty you feel all day, but just try to, meditate at least, for a minute once or twice a day, just to like kind of keep things moderately okay, so that you're more likely to have good sleep. It's kind of a shame though, because you think, well, sleep should fix, if you're tired, if you feel screwed up, sleep should fix it. And it does a lot of times, but sometimes you're screwed up in a way that gives you bad sleep. Oops. So anyway, long story short, let's do it. Let's do healing flowers to nourish you, to help you have good sleep. Mm. Mm. Interesting. Well, okay. Having a little problem. But hopefully it's just something I'll fix later. All right, so that was explaining. So now we will do doing. So this is easy. Just make energy healing flowers, and I like moving my hands when I do it, but you don't have to. You can just create them with your mind out in front of you. And I like making them as flowers, but you know, if you feel like that's too, I don't know, you just don't like flowers, you can make just balls of colored energy or energy presence for yourself in some other form that you enjoy. Um, Make them gold, light, or rainbow colors, or both. So you just use universal healing energy and you make a bunch of healing flowers for yourself. You tune them to, with your intuition and your hands, you just tune them to just the right vibration to nourish yourself and your physical body and your mind, you know, for sleep. So you can have good sleep. So not that you're about to go to sleep right now necessarily, but you know, maintain that level of wellness so that you're ready for proper sleep. You're able to have good sleep, right? So tune your flowers and then say, angels, can you double check my flowers, my good sleep flowers? And then give them to yourself. Okay, one more time. Make as many as you need. Energy healing flowers out of universal healing energy and tune them to just the right vibration to help you have good sleep. And say, angels, can you double check my good sleep flowers? Give them to yourself. Let them go wherever they need to in your space. Let your body be nourished, also your physical body. One more time. Energy healing flowers for good sleep, for your body and for your spirit. Whatever's needed. Tune them to the right vibrations. Angels, can you check my good sleep flowers? And give them to your body. Give them to you as a spirit. Take a couple deep breaths. As you breathe, just, you know, relax and release the chaos of the external world. And you can have selective awareness of some of the peacefulness in the world. There are some peaceful, innocent, adorable aspects of maybe nature and certain people in the world. So you have to block out all external awareness. Just be a little selective sometimes. Deep breath, like you could be aware of the oceans and how they're nice and cool and have really neat, wild, you know, animals living in the ocean. You be aware of the trees, lots of big, cool, healing trees in the world. Full deep breaths. All right, good job. Woo! Awesome. Good sleep, butterflies. Good sleep, butterflies. There. Yay. Good job, good job. All right. All righty, let's see. Mm. So these are some leaves from some bean plants that I grew 3 summers ago. And they were purple beans. I grow green beans, pole beans that are green beans. They're yummy. But I grew purple beans that year as well. And they looked cool. The leaves were especially giant and healthy. It was really neat. So let's see. I'm trying to make the camera small so you can see the leaves better. So these are the leaves that I have on my website. These bean leaves. Here we go. They looked really cool. It was like this whole wall of them, kind of, because I grew them up this big, wide, tall trellis. Giant, really awesome looking leaves. The bean pods were pretty cool too. They were purple and long, but they got, like, you had to pick them before they got too old, which I guess is typical for beans, but the kind of green beans that we prefer, you can let them get long and they're still really good. So that's why I don't grow the purple ones anymore, because you have to be really good with timing, and we were not really good with timing. Let's see. So what's next? So that was a side story for the gardeners in the crowd. Alrighty. All right. So all right, so I talked about goals and future plans in the intro. There'll be a little section for it. And we're going to clear most significant healthy and gentle blocks so that you can create, be aware of, be mindful of your goals and your future plans, and also to clear distortions related to that so that you're more likely to be aware of, like, the clean version of your goals, not distorted by self-esteem issues or inner emptiness kind of stuff, or resentment towards loved ones, or might view your perceptions and your desires in a way that's less beneficial for you. Right? So we want goals and future plans that are uplifting and positive for you. Okay. So I don't know if I like MSHG because it's like kind of hurts my brain. Most significant, healthy, and gentle. I think I'll do most significant H and G. Most significant, healthy, and gentle blocks. Okay. So make a blanket, big old blanket out in front of you, pile onto it the most significant blocks that are still healthy and gentle to clear, to help you to have goals, have future plans in their most, like, empowering, inspiring form for you. And also, I guess we'll get rid of the distortions all at the same time. Well, any blocks that are causing you to have distorted goals or distorted perceptions of your future plans and what's ideal for you, just pile all that junk all out at once. So any baggage in the way of you having goals and future plans and accurate, kind of pure goals and plans that are best for you. And then just say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now. They'll check for you and double check, edit for you. And then angels, can you please recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this junk? And then you can do all the rest. Just bring up red earth energy from the core of the earth. Soak your giant pile in red earth energy or piles. And then use cold light from your hands and melt everybody out of the way. Melt the cords from people, melt the cords from yourself. Wash everybody out, wash your own resistance out. So that all this stuff can melt away and dissolve fully. Or at this point, you could just blow it up too, blow it all up. So it's all gone. If there's any left over, just wrap it up in gold light, give it to your angels. Say, angels, can you help me with all that? All right, good job. So we'll do it again. Big old blanket out in front of you, or if you prefer, big gold dumpsters or big gold boxes to contain all this baggage and junk and dumped energy from other people. But just put out in front of you anything that is in the way of you thinking of, being inspired by an accurate version of, as accurate as possible, a version of your goals and future plans. So put all the junk out in front of you in the way of you having positive, uplifting, healthy, accurate goals and plans. And I say, angels, can you double check this pile for me? Make sure it's healthy and gentle. Breath. And then angels, can you please recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this junk? Deep breath. And then you do the rest. Bring up red earth energy. Soak the whole pile in red earth energy. Lots of gold light. Melt cords from other people going into the piles. Melt your own energy out of the piles. Wash everybody out and just let the piles melt fully. The more gold light you use. Or you could just blow it all up and let it fully dissolve that way. And if there's any left over, just wrap it up in gold light. Give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with all that? All right. You're amazing. Good job, good job, good job, good job. Woo! Yay. That's fabulous. So that was clearing all MSHG blocks, most significant, healthy, and gentle blocks, so that you can have your positive, uplifting goals and future plans, including any blocks that might be distorting your perception of your most beneficial goals and plans. Okie doke. Okay, so now we're going to clear grief. I should probably write that there too. So we're going to clear grief. And how we're going to do that is to work these meridians, lung and large intestine meridians. And they're simple and it's cool. You'll like it. I hope you like it. And we're going to clear MSHG, the most significant healthy and gentle blocks within all that, those 2 meridians and the auras that go with them. There could be blocks in the auras that go with those meridians, say shoved in the back, or because you repressed them, or right in front, like kind of weighing down the meridian in a real obvious way. So the blocks in the auras are just as important, and they're very related to the blocks in the actual meridian itself. So we'll clear the blocks all at once, though. I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm not gonna do the direct healing on the meridians, although I will play a video. Well, maybe momentarily I'll do direct healing on the meridians, but just so you can get a sense of where they go in case you don't have it memorized. But then we'll just put those MSHG blocks out in front of us and clear them that way. So you don't really have to know, oh yeah, the back has a ton of blocks, or oh yeah, this part of the meridian has a ton of blocks. You don't have to know that. You just, with your intention, you put those blocks out in front of you and you melt them there. All right. So the two meridians, lung. So the short version of the lung one is it goes from here, roughly around here. So like, here's my armpit. So like somewhere around there. It goes somewhere around there, and it kind of goes up a little, and then it goes through your inner elbow and through your wrist to your thumb. So that's the lung meridian. And then the lung meridian actually flows into the large intestine meridian. That's not why we're doing both of them. They're actually a yin-yang pair. So they support each other, right? So then the large intestine meridian starts in the index finger, and it goes through the chubby part of your hand right here that a lot of people massage, that point right there. That's lung 4. That's a point along the lung meridian. So anyway, it goes from your index finger all the way up, and then it goes on your shoulder, and then it goes on the side of your neck, and then it goes to the side of your nose. It actually crosses under your nose and goes like so. That's the large intestine meridian. Shoulder, neck, nose. So those 2 meridians, they help you store grief, but they help, they can help you release the grief too. So we want to do that because the angels told me to do it. But actually, a client told me in her survey that apparently those are good to heal in the autumn. These 2 meridians in particular, which I didn't know consciously, but that's the benefit of just letting the angels tell me what to do. That way I don't have to be all knowing, which is impossible, of course. All right. So that was explaining, that was basically, so now we will do so now we'll do, okay? So I'll just for starters, once I'll play the videos all the way through. So lung 1, like I said, starts around here, ends in the thumb, right? So imagine a copy out in front of you, gold light. You want these meridians to be energy-wise red and flowy. Red flowy tube with your red flowy life force. Lots of gold light to unclog and repair. You don't want any leaks. You don't want any blocks. So from up here all the way down through your inner elbow through to your thumb, all the way from here to your thumb, right? So lung, lots of gold light, all the way out to the, okay, so that's lung, which then from the thumb, the energy flows to the index finger, right? And goes all the way up, shoulder, neck, nose, side of the nose. And there's a small inaccuracy in the video. The video makes it look like it goes like this, but it actually crisscrosses. So large intestine starts in the finger, right? So imagine a copy out in front of you and just heal that copy up the arm, shoulder, neck, nose. That's a gold light there. And in reality, it actually crisscrosses. So finger all the way up, shoulder, neck, nose, side of nose. Do that one more time. Index finger. And just get a sense of, it should be a river, right? But is it a river or is it just like a bunch of rocks because your dad's in there? You know? So kick out your dad, kick out your mom, kick out your bossy brother, whoever. You just use lots of gold light. You can use gold fire and have the fire just burn everybody out. Because it's gold light, it's not going to hurt anybody, but it's going to knock them out. Gold light. Right? Gold fire all the way up the meridian. Energy centers can be unblocked and do their job, which is keeping the energy flow and generating more energy, right? So now you have a decent sense, somewhat, of lung and large intestine meridians. So now we can maybe freeze frame it on one of them like that. I like that image. That's very cool looking. So, but imagine both of them. Okay, so the lung one that goes like that to your shoulder, and then the large intestine one that goes from your finger up, shoulder, side of neck, side of nose, right? So both of those, imagine both those meridians. And you can make a big old blanket out in front of you, put onto the blanket the MSHG blocks, right? The most significant, but still healthy and gentle blocks to get rid of in both those meridians and those matching Wei Qi auras for those meridians. So put all those blocks out in front of you for both those meridians and just say, angels, can you double check these blocks that they're still healthy and gentle for me to get rid of? And then say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into these blocks? And then bring up red earth energy, ground all the blocks in red earth energy. And gold light, melt away cords going into the blocks from you or from other people. Wash your resistance out of the blocks. Watch everyone else's energy out. Just let the blocks melt fully. You can blow them up as well. That's fun. And if you have any left over, you can wrap it up in gold light. Give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with this? So we'll do that one more time. Make a big gold blanket out in front of you. Put onto the blanket any blocks that are MSHG, most significant to clear, but also healthy and gentle. Right? So most significant and healthy and gentle blocks for lung and large intestine meridians, as well as the auras that go with them. Right? So all the blocks. The angels, can you double check, make sure this is healthy and gentle? Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this junk? And then bring up red earth energy, soak these blocks in red earth energy. And gold light, melt away cords from yourself and from other people going into these blocks. And melt out your resistance, melt out everybody's energy. Let the blocks melt completely. And you could also blow up the blocks. Unless you're healing someone else, in which case it's too bossy to blow up people's stuff. If you're healing. So anything left over, just wrap it up in gold light and give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with this? Couple deep breaths. So get a sense of your lung meridian and your large intestine meridian that ends right. Right, just get a sense of that. You can have a copy out in front of you and of your auras and your body and your astral body and everything, and just comb through your two, the lung and the large intestine meridian Wei Qi auras. Just with your intention, you just pick out the two that go with those meridians and just comb all around you. Get a sense of if you feel like you're, there's a lot of blocks. Is it kind of sluggish feeling, or does it feel very flowing? And just get a sense of the blocks and melt them away. Sometimes the blocks in front here in those two meridians, it's kind of like if you're carrying a boulder or some heavy tablet or something. So just use lots of gold light. And you can say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And then wash out cords from people, wash your energy out, and just let the blocks melt, or you can blow them up. And the blocks in back of these two auras, sometimes that's just like, you're like, oh, I really don't want to deal with it. Oh, I'm going to deal with that later. And it's just, meanwhile, it's heavy for you to keep carrying it. So it's more efficient. The reason you put it back there is because you can't handle it, right? But melting it away is better than putting it back there, because then you really don't have to handle it anymore because it's all gone. Right? So just find some blocks in the back of your large intestine and lung meridian Wei Qi auras back there, and just feel the blocks, get a sense of them, sense how heavy they are. Say, angels, you recycle any invasive beings plugged into these blocks, and melt the cords from people, melt your own energy out of them, and let them melt fully, or you can blow them up. And you can get a sense of if you're bringing new energy of yours into these meridians, because your energy as a spirit can be in these meridians. It's not in the way. So are you bringing in new energy into your lung and your large intestine meridians? Are you releasing grief out of your large intestine and lung meridians? Sometimes that can look like black sand that's falling out of these two meridians down to the core of the earth. So just let that black sand representing the grief fall down, to the core of the earth. It doesn't have to look that way, but that might be how you see it. So again, just keep in mind, if it keeps flowing, it's fine. You don't have to feel sad at all. If it's just keeps flowing, it's a good thing. It keeps releasing. All right. So that was quick, direct healing on the lung and the large intestine meridians. And then most of it was just clearing blocks with blanket exercise out in front of us that are, the most significant but still healthy and gentle blocks at the same time for both those meridians and their matching Wei Qi auras. And we did that a couple times. And then we just did a little bit extra energy block clearing in those two auras, the the lung, meridian, Wei Qi aura, and the large intestine, meridian, Wei Qi. Oh, right. Good job, good job, good job. So I'm just going to look for a minute to see. We're almost done with the healing. I just want to look a little bit extra. Okay. So we're going to do a telepathic, we're going to do a sound boundaries speed round. And so there are 4 aspects that we'll do for the sound boundaries speed round. We will repair a bunch of stuff. So that in case you have 1 or 2 people like really trying to scream at you on a spirit level, that it doesn't, kind of harsh your peace, harsh your mellow. So 5th chakra and 5th layer. So 5th chakra is in the throat, one of your 7 major chakras, right? 5th chakra has to do with communications with others as well as with yourself. So your own inner peace, your own inner thoughts, being able to have mental clarity about your goals, having to be able to calm your mind enough to, fall off to sleep and, and have nice serene thoughts when you wake up, all that. That's partially, it's 5th chakra, partially, your mind, inner voice, and communication with others. It's all the same chakra. So if you have people screaming at you and you're like still arguing with them in your mind, it's going to mess with your own inner peace, your own ability to think calmly and clearly and all that good stuff, right? So, which, fun fact, is why the angels are never fond of people arguing, you know, like political arguments online. Like, only in very rare instances are the angels like, yeah, you should really argue with that dude who's like totally very passionate about, you know, whatever he thinks, you know? Because it's like, you're not going to change his mind, you know? And I think there's this, you know, some people think that that's a way of political action, you know, arguing with people online, but the angels kind of roll their eyes at that usually. Like, that's not really as effective as people think it is. And it just, you're like, the problem is you're communicating with others, and that's the same chakra, the same aura layer that you have to plan out your day and sleep peacefully and wake up with serenity and all that. So it's like, it's really expensive real estate to kind of spend on, you know, pointless arguments with strangers, you know, who, you know, you're not going to change their mind anyway. You know, because then the problem is a lot of people that are that, you know, intense about something, they're very invasive as well. So they'll whack and potentially cause a lot of damage as you're arguing over pointless, you know, things. And so anyway, so this is how we're going to fix it all up. But ideally, you know, it's just the angels did want to put a little PSA against online arguments with strangers. And also potentially pointless arguments with people you know. If you know it's gonna, you know, if your intuition tells you this won't end well, then maybe don't start it. But anyway, okay, so that was explaining. So now let's do it. Yeah, so now we will do so what will we do? So telepathic mesh. All right, so we're not doing yet. I'm about to list what we're doing. Oops. Oh, it came back. Sorry, I couldn't do that a second ago. Anyway, we're not doing it yet. We're about to do it. So we'll be repairing telepathic mesh, which is in the front of your 5th layer of your aura. And it should be a nice gold, flowy, continuous force field, but it can get slashed up. And, you know, if you're arguing with strangers online and they're invasive, or your bitchy older sister is invasive, it's just throwing energy, this could get all shattered, in which case it's hard for you to have boundaries and keep that inner peace. But you can repair it, right? So we're going to be repairing the telepathic mesh. Then we're going to be repairing and unblocking the 5th layer and the 5th chakras. The 5th chakras and 5th layers. I'm just going to put L, capital L, for layer, aura layer, 5th aura layer of your physical body, and then your 5th aura layer of your astral body. They go all around you. Astral body and physical body auras are like layers of an onion. They have 7 layers all around you, right? So 5th chakras and 5th layers, we're going to repair and unblock those. And then 5th good karma window, which we already did heal that when we did all the good karma windows as part of the 4 essentials improvisation we did. But anyway, 5th good karma window is, you know, part of that whole system, right? So you want just you, basically, and all repair. So you have nice strong boundaries, and you have your peace, your inner peace, essentially, and your sound boundaries. And it helps you hear your angels better. Fun fact. Because that's, you know, inner voice, but it's also hearing angels. Okay. So now we're doing. Okay, so just imagine a copy of your telepathic mesh, which is like pretty much right here out in front of you, in front of your 5th chakras, right? And should be a nice ribbon of gold mesh. So just use a lot of gold light and repair it. It can have pretty massive rips in it. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this repair, can you please recycle them? And just use so much gold light that it grows back. And melt cords from people going into your telepathic mesh. Some people are very invasive communicators. Sometimes that's the case in like a couple, you know, maybe your spouse maybe they always were, or they've just become over the years a very invasive communicator, and they'll cord the telepathic mesh, which is a very invasive way to communicate with somebody. And you might have that. You might notice if you have people like that in your life, if you keep thinking about what they said to you over and over and over in your mind. So just melt away cords from people going into your telepathic. You say, angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with any of my inner voice space, including telepathic mesh, can you please recycle them? Melt away those cords. And the whole fifth layer, both fifth layers, both fifth chakras, and then back here, the fifth good karma window in the back of the astral body fifth layer. So let's do all that. So fifth layers, especially the very top, especially the very bottom. So very top up here of your fifth layer, very bottom of your fifth layers down here. All right, so unblock those. Right. Block your fifth layers. So maybe you have rips, maybe you just have like big flat energy blocks there. So just melt them away. You can put out in front of you. You make a big old blanket, put out in front of you the MSHG blocks in your whole inner voice space. So fifth chakras, fifth layers, good karma window, telepathic mesh. So if the most significant healthy and gentle blocks to clear in all that, put them out in front of you. The angels, is this healthy and gentle to clear right now? So your angels will edit it if necessary. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into any of this? And then bring up red earth energy, gold light, melt the cords from people. And just keep using gold light until all those blocks melt. And if you have any left over, just wrap it up in gold light, give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with that? All right, so a little bit more on the fifth layers. Make sure they're releasing well at the bottom. Make sure they're flowy at the top. Your fifth layers. Fifth chakras, you can make a copy out in front of you of both your fifth chakras. You can make them separate, like two of them, or make a composite copy of astral body and physical body fifth chakras. Whatever floats your boat. And just use lots of gold light, melt cords. Maybe somebody's trying to give you messages, but they're being sly about it. So they're cording the back of your throat chakra. Maybe someone's very in your face about it. And so they're cording the front. Either way, melt that away. And if you repair damage, then it's a lot harder for people to do that kind of thing. So you can check the outer rim of the chakra and see that it's nice and smooth. And it doesn't have any cracks or missing chunks. It does. Just use a lot of gold light to repair it. Remember, this is what flaps look like when they're irritated and stuck open. But you don't want that. You just want a round outer surface of the chakra in front and in back. Heat melting blocks, melt cords, so those flaps can relax and fall like that. You could make an extra grounding for your fifth chakras all the way down to the core of the earth, just for your fifth chakras. It's up to you, but if you do like the rainbow system for your chakras, then red, orange, yellow, green for fourth, like a middle light to middle medium blue for your fifth, cobalt blue, and then purple for your seventh. So light or medium blue for your fifth chakras, and make a grounding of that color or shade you like all the way down to the core of the earth. Soak your fifth chakras in blue earth energy. And you can make energy healing flowers for yourself, or peace of mind and inner clarity and hearing your angels. So peace of mind, inner clarity, hearing angels flowers. So energy healing flowers, whatever form you like, tune them to just the right vibration to nourish your communication system. Angels, can you check my flowers? Inner peace flowers for short. And give them to your. Make some more flowers for your inner peace and your clarity. And tune them to just the right vibration for you. Angels, can you check my inner peace clarity flowers? And give them to yourself. Deep breaths. And let's make flowers for hearing angels. So whatever tuning and adjustment, extra inner silence you need in order to hear your angels better, make energy healing flowers for that. Hearing angels flowers, hearing your angels flowers. And say, angels, can you check my flowers? Give them to yourself. Go where they need to go. One more time, hearing angels flowers. Many as you need. Angels, can you check my flowers? All right, very nice. Okay, so we're going to wrap up now, just in the next couple minutes. So this last thing we're going to do is just a little comb through, a little unblocking grounding, and we'll do clearing STEBs, stubborn triggered energy blocks, and empty USPs, unprocessed stress pots, just leftover shit that you haven't processed that might make you feel kind of full. And we don't want that. We want to catch up on the processing so that just feel like you're ready for anything. So let's do it. So make a copy out in front of you of your everything, all your 17 auras, your physical body and your astral body are inside there, both your groundings that connect you to the core of the earth. Gold light, wash all that out. Wash all that out. You can do a tricolor soak even. Bring up red earth energy, make your groundings red. Bring up red earth energy, soak your everything in red earth energy. Let that be relaxing for you. Bring that down. Make your groundings orange, your favorite shade of orange. Bring up orange earth energy. Soak everything in the orange earth energy. Let yourself receive, let yourself release. And let that go, and make your grounding your favorite shade of yellow. Bring up yellow earth energy all the way from the core of the earth. Soak your everything in yellow earth energy. See how that feels. It's okay to receive. It's okay to let go. And you could leave up that earth energy, you know, as an earth energy soak and just switch it back to whichever color worked best for you, red or orange or yellow. Or you could bring it back down to the level of your third chakra, which I generally suggest as the height of grounding. A good optimal height for grounding. All right, so STEBs, stubborn triggered energy blocks, is just a leftover shit that didn't clear, even though we've done so much. So just put out in front of you any stubborn triggered energy blocks that are still bugging you on any level, and bring up red earth energy, melt cords. Say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Use lots of gold light and melt it all away or blow them up. One more time, stubborn triggered energy blocks, put them out in front of you. And red earth energy. Say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way? Lots of gold light, melt everyone out. Melt the blocks or blow them up. Deep breath, good job. And then empty USPs, so unprocessed stress pots. You don't actually have pots in your space. It's an easy visual way to think of, unless you prefer a different visual way. You don't like pots. Some people, one person at least, doesn't like pots. Okay, but whatever. It's an idea that you have only so much headspace, and you know, so much space to like figure shit out and solve problems and think straight. And sometimes it's just too much. Things are just too much. You know, there was too much that you couldn't handle, and you're full. Can't handle another thing. Right? And so we want you to not be full. We want you to be able to be ready for this afternoon, this evening, tomorrow, whatever comes, right? And so we got to catch up on the processing, and it's actually pretty easy to do. So one way you could do it is you imagine all your unprocessed stress pots. So it's sort of like a shove to the side space that you have in your mind. It's not really repressed. It's just like a not at this moment kind of a pile, you know? And so they're unprocessed stress pots. And see, are they full? Are they already overflowing? Are there some that you've hidden away that are overflowing? So look at all your unprocessed stress pots. Don't hide any from yourself. You're not doing yourself any favors. And just bring up red earth energy and gold light. Melt everybody out of your unprocessed stress pots. You might have some people courting them. I had a dental hygienist once who was courting my unprocessed stress pots. It was very uncomfortable. So just melt away the cords going into your unprocessed stress pots, and then melt away all the contents of your unprocessed stress pots. Just use gold light. It's super easy. Just catch up. Zip, zip, zip. Lots of gold light. Just let the gold light process this stress that you didn't handle before. So that all your pots are empty now. You're ready for anything. You can destroy the images of the pots if you want. You could say too, angels, can you help me be ready for anything? Deep breath. Say, angels, can you help me to have discipline? I didn't say that word once the whole healing. We worked a lot on goals though, so it's kind of the same. But anyway, angels, can you help me to have discipline with my goals? Can you help me to have healthy goals? Can you help me to take consistent action towards my goals? Angels, can you help me wrap up this healing? Double check your grounding. Make sure it's nice and wide and flowing. If it's not, go ahead, make it that way. Just blow up all the blocks. Make it nice and wide and flowing, even in the back. When in doubt, later, do this again. Unblock your grounding. Even if you just have 10 seconds, just unblock your grounding. Nice, flowy, flowy, flowy grounding. All right. You're a rock star. Woo, 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 woo. Great job, great job, great job. You're amazing. I want some confetti. Where's my confetti? I don't have the confetti for the waterfall. I hate that. All right. Here's my confession. Woohoo! Yay! Yeah, we'll fix that. Okay. All right. So that was a healing. Big healing. Hope you liked it. And just a reminder that I am a professional healer, very seasoned professional healer. So if doing that entire healing on yourself felt like a bit too much, that's okay. You don't have to do the healing on yourself in its entirety. Just use your intuition and, you know, be realistic. If you have 5 minutes, then do 5 minutes worth. You know, it's okay. Healing is not about perfection, it's about incremental progress, right? Okay, healing done. Bathroom break. And stretch break. And after those two things, then we'll do a quick Q&A. And so you could post how the healing was for you, how you're feeling since the healing. If you have any follow-up questions about the theme of discipline and taking consistent positive action towards your goals, working towards your goals, achieving your goals. If you try to limit the whole Janet read me thing, just because for time sake, but if you did want me to look at something, post your read on it, and then I'll comment on your read, you know, so you self-assess first and what you think is going on and what you think, how you should work on it. And then I would, you know, give you feedback on that. And if time is an issue, I might have to skip over some of the veteran questions and just do the newbie questions if there are any newbies, but we'll see. And worst case, if I don't get to your question, you could post it under the video later at any time, and I will get to it when I have time and post a reply under your comment. All right, so let's take a break. For breaks. Ooh. All right, so enjoy the bean leaves while I'm gone. Hey, I'm back. So I'm going to do stretching for a minute. You could too if you want. But I'm not like a stretching expert, and everybody's body is different. So if you want to stretch, just figure out what's good for you and go for it. It'll just be a minute. All right. Hello, hello. I'm back. Did you have a good break? Okie doke. Oh, hello, 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 hello. Thank you for your comments. If you haven't given the live stream a thumbs up, please consider that. If that's okay with you. Oh, and also for favorite herbs, like full disclosure, I'm not super knowledgeable about herbs. I mean, it's for real stuff. It's super cool. But I have like a little knowledge about a lot of things, you know. So I don't really have a deep catalog of not I tend to just learn enough of what I need, you know. So like I have a certain Chinese medicine formula that helps if I get heat in my throat, you know, my throat starts getting sore, which is actually really rare because I'm very careful with what I eat. But if that were to happen, I have the Chinese medicine formula already, you know. And so full disclosure, I'm not an herbal expert at all. But you know, I grow some herbs in the garden. You know, a lot of herbs in the garden, actually, I guess. Well, a lot of certain herbs. You know, oregano just kind of takes over when you grow it. But part of it now, I just grow it for for the bees. You know, oregano in bloom. Fun fact is like bees go crazy over it for some reason. So it must make a lot of pollen. But anyway, blah, blah, blah. So looking for comments I haven't read yet. Someone says, let's see, the ones I haven't read yet. Good thyroid chiller. Good thyroid chiller. Maybe you meant the lung meridian and large intestine meridian? I'm not sure what you meant. You could clarify that if you want. What you meant by good thyroid chiller. You are amazing, Janet. Thank you. Someone says, do you astro travel, Janet? I have one time. A guy on YouTube said he has done it often. Okay, so it's possible that people have different definitions of what that is, or maybe they have different understandings of things. Trying to not judge. But you are, the part of you that comes into your body, your physical body, is your astral body, right? When you sleep, your astral body goes to the astral. So you're on the astral every time you sleep. So you've been on the astral a hell of a lot in your lifetime. And so everyone astral travels. So maybe either someone who says, well, I did it once, or I've done it, often, maybe they are thinking of something really different. Or maybe they're thinking of like lucid dreaming, where you're aware that you're in the dream, and that's what they're thinking of, or who knows what they're thinking of. But I mean, you go to the astral every time you're asleep. So, that's a lot, So yes, I astral travel, and so do you. So I don't know, maybe different people use the same words to mean something else, or maybe some people just don't understand, or they, whatever, they have different awarenesses, let's say. Like plenty of people say, oh, your aura is pink, and it's like, seriously, I have 17 auras and, countless colors within those 17 auras, and some of that energy is mine, some of it's not mine, so it's like there's always, anyway, so it's one of those things within spirituality that could mean different things, very different things to very different people. So there's that. Someone gives me a little wave emoji. Hello to you too. No leaky chakras. Got it. That's right. Ideally. But, it happens. So then you repair them. But yeah, you can just intuitively check if any of your chakras are damaged, and fix them up. The major ones. All the bazillions of them, then you might want to just do them all at once like we do with composite copy. But with the 7 major physical and 7 major astral, you could just like line up 7 physical, 7 astral, and go, there's okay, they're okay, whoop, not okay, and then fix up the ones that need extra help. All right. Lots of emojis. Thank you. Someone says it's not autumn over here. It's spring. That's right. It's springtime in Australia. Hello to you. Waterfall. Oh, you like the waterfall. Yeah, I do too. It's nice. Someone says, thank you, Janet. Feeling not so great post-healing. I'm sorry. Got in a small fight with my husband right after the 4 essentials and have had trouble focusing on the healing. Feels like a 4th chakra grief issue. Had some negative experiences with acquaintances, friends over the weekend, and you're mentioning their initials. But that left me feeling bad. Also some compulsive spending. Fun times. So lots of factors. That's life, right? So that's why intuition is helpful. So you can focus on, okay, what's the damage? Why do I feel like shit? So your self-assessment on why you feel like shit after your conflict with your spouse and the weekend conflicts is 4th chakra / grief issue. I mean, you're pretty strong lately. You know, you've worked so hard and very diligently on repair and intuition as to like, okay, I need to repair this. I need to repair this. I just got whacked again by your old mom. What should I do about it? You know, so your system is pretty strong. So if you feel considerably worse all of the sudden, it could be a lot of damage you just got, but the other possibility is you just got a lot dumped into your space, you know, kind of like the size of like 3 microwaves or like a mini fridge, you know, just like, dumped in your space. And that looks like that can still happen these days. You know, you just get a big bunch dumped in your space all at once. So I think that's what happened with your argument with your spouse. Sorry. Oh, I just freaked myself out because I almost spilled my beverage. So yeah, I think he just dumped a bunch around your belly and your chest in front of your auras. So yeah, if you get rid of the stuff he dumped and heal a little bit extra there in those auras, then that should be okay. I think with you and him, sometimes there's stuff that he is not ready to deal with. And you tend to, like, you have some stuff you're not ready to deal with, but with him, if he's not ready to deal with stuff, you don't always just let him be. Sometimes you're very small table communication with him, like, okay, we need to work on this. This is a real thing. And he's like, no, I really told you I didn't want to deal with it right now. And so if you insist more like that on a spirit level, then he just goes, stop, you know, because he knows that'll like, whoa, what happened? You know, that finally gets you to stop, you know? So it's better to be park bench with somebody, when you're getting a sense that they're a little too full of their stress, and they have stuff they want to put off and deal with later. So if you're doing park bench, so for people that don't know, you could watch, I have like 2 or 3 videos on YouTube. If you search Janet Wright park bench communication, park bench, like you're sitting in a park on a bench. It's a style of communication that's more gentle and indirect, which is especially preferred by people that have a lot that they are putting off as far as like dealing with. So I think try park bench for like a week. Because it does seem like your husband's working through some deeper stuff that doesn't clear right away, and so it's kind of like all over, some baggage triggered, and you don't want to get in that, and you can just keep calling back your energy into gold suns, or gold 3D magnets, call back your energy out of his space. Imagine cords, if there are any cords between you and him, and just keep melting the cords that you have going into his baggage and that he has going into yours. But it's more likely that you're kind of, I think, when you get stuck and he's uplifted, that's one thing. But when you're uplifted and he's stuck, sometimes you get a little bit like invasive mommy kind of on him, so just let him, have his cave time. Let him just chill, you be park bench, call your energy back, melt the cords, just, amuse yourself for a while. Hope that makes sense. I think the friend thing over the weekend, that was probably grief, like some of your old repressed grief got triggered. So you could work that, the lung and large intestine meridians, maybe the way we did it today, with just the most significant healthy and gentle blocks out in front of you, and just keep clearing like that. This is, hi, Janet. And you're saying hello from Phoenix. Hello to you. Thank you for healing me and my spouse. It's my pleasure. Hello, hello. Someone says, thanks, Janet. I feel a little edgy, and you're mentioning what the frick is H-A, ha. Usually when people make initials, it's somebody's name, but I don't think that's what this is. Well, whatever. I don't know what that means. My assessment is my mom just whacked me and is in my space. She did just whack you, but then she stormed off. My self-assessment from feeling awful on Wednesday. Wednesday was a long time ago. Wednesday is Sunday now. To me, that's like 5 years ago. Feels like. My self-assessment from feeling awful on Wednesday was massive attacks from my mom. Did she attack you on, let's see, on Tuesday you were cruising, Wednesday, yeah, she starts coming towards you. I think some work people whacked you first, and then she piled on and did some more. Oh, that's what you said. And also coworker. Yes, correct. That's my read on it too, in a supervisory role, the one mentioned in the last healing. My read is to work on social communication. Work on social communication. Well, at work. Okay, so you have a lot of energy. So you show up at a workplace and you're kind of, and you know, I think you did this 20 years ago too. I don't think it's that you've been meditating and now you literally have a lot of energy. I think even before, you kind of tend to change your workplace to suit you versus like kind of, you know, like you're a shitty soldier. I'm a shitty soldier. My husband's a shitty soldier. We're both shitty soldiers. It's like in corporations or organizations, there's authority levels, there's hierarchies, and it's not wrong. I mean, it just is. You know, you have a boss. So your boss sets the tone for things. That boss sets the tone for even more things, you know, and so, but you tend to not pay attention to that. And you're like, well, but it should be this way, and that should be that way, and that should be that way. So you go about changing the vibration of like entire departments that you're not in charge of. And then they, and some people have no idea that you did it, but others on a spirit level, they know very well that you did it. And they think, who is this controlling bitch coming out of nowhere, changing my department? You know? So, and then, you know, then you have this ongoing battle. So just try to rein it in and think of like, you ask your angels to help you to have healthy boundaries and to have a sense of what is your job and your sort of authority arena within your job. You know, like not what you want your authority arena to be, but what it actually is based on the agreements that you made, the employment agreements, who works for whom, who supervises whom, who's peer, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, because it's like you're giving yourself this much authority at work over this many things, and your job title gives you this much authority over this many things. So this part is what's getting you into a lot of trouble and conflicts. If you were to rein it in and let your angels help you to only regulate and control what you are karmically given permission to control and direct there, then it would save you a lot of time and energy and conflict and drama, and you could probably enjoy your work more. And this isn't the only workplace that you've done that at, but it's just, I guess you're ready to work on it, whereas before you weren't so much. So a good time to work on it. So you can just kind of make your own way of visualizing whatever that was, and just, work with your angels on it. You can clear baggage. I mean, obviously, you had an example of your mother of like an extremely controlling female. So is that where you got it from? Yeah, I think that's like 80% where you got it from. There's some past life stuff that causes you to do it, but it's mostly just, how you were raised. Not that your dad demonstrated that, but your mom did. So you could just clear some fear and some self-esteem baggage and some self-acceptance baggage. And, you don't have to know what it all is, though. Just put all the baggage out in front of you that causes you to overstep authority boundaries at work, and then just keep melting that away, and just have your angels check, is this too much to do at once, but then just keep working it. You can play nice at work. I hope that makes sense. So it's not so much social communication, it is social, but it's sort of like social boundaries, professional boundaries, work boundaries, authority level boundaries, that kind of thing. Your mom did whack you, but she whacked you today too. But I think if you weren't, that she's maybe just 20% of the issue, and the 80% is the work stuff. So if you were to rein in your work boundary infringements, then you'd have enough sort of energy to deal with, working on safety stuff with your mom. You could do some park bench communications with her and ask her, just on the, like subconsciously, ask her to talk to her in a park bench communication kind of way about, like, imagine being on a park bench with her. Just say, angels, help me to find a positive astral location for this conversation with my mother. And then, when your angels give you a thumbs up, imagine whatever bench that they made for you and sit on it with your mom, let her sit a distance from you, and just talk to her about her anger, and how she whacks a lot, and how that's impacting you, and how you're hoping that maybe she can get some angel classes and help with that. And that she's been through a lot in her life, and has a lot of challenges. So you're not trying to vilify her, but it would help you if she could work on that with her angels. Because I think if you explain it to her that way, maybe you might get a little bit more progress with her. I hope that helps. Your spouse did fine. His angels are happy about the healing. They always like the inner peace stuff whenever we do more like inner peacefulness stuff. Like reset your inner vibe and don't match the people around you. That's always very helpful for him. He likes that stuff. HA is headache. Wow. Is that a medical abbreviation? I mean, serious question. Is HA a medical abbreviation for headache? I lost my place. Oh, there we go. Oh, so you currently, yeah, that's where your mom whacked you. Yeah. You're, like, gallbladder meridian and urinary bladder meridian got a little beat up. And those Weichi auras got really ripped up. So you repair those. And then once you repair the auras and get the, the gold mesh spheres and everything, then they'll kind of repair themselves eventually, but you can do a little extra to repair them. So that would be, that one that's around the hairline and zigzags, and then that's gallbladder. The one that does those high up arcs on the side of the head. And then urinary bladder is the yellow one. I mean, I know you know that, but some people listening don't. So that's the urinary bladder meridian, the one that goes up there and goes back behind the head. Thanks for the happy emojis. Stretching, yes, stretching was good. Thank you, Janet, for every part of the healing. You're welcome. When I want to give quick healings to my boys when they are stuck, just like me, lol, I do a quick grounding and try to read. I unblock, let's say, youngest, third chakra, and quick ground unblock. The impact is minimal, but then I speak to him telepathically. Was it clean? He was stuck because he doesn't have any electronics to play. Well, he's stuck because he's mad that he doesn't have electronics to play. I mean, you can not have electronics to play with and not be stuck. He's stuck on, a lot of repressed anger because he wants to like scream and yell and punch in walls, and he knows he's going to get in more trouble if he does that. So he's having trouble letting the anger out. Like, I don't know if you want to teach them, but they can just blow the anger out with air. They don't have to scream or yell or, or whatever, especially when you're a kid, you're not, you can't, if you punch pillows, people might get offended. You could punch a pillow, I guess, but you might hurt your wrists eventually, so you can just let the anger out, like you don't have to move your hands even. Just, just let with your breath, just release your anger so that it doesn't bottle up. Because that's really what's going on with him. He has all this anger that's bottled up and he's not clearing it. Because he thinks that, the external situation of him not having the Nintendo or whatever, he's like holding his breath till he gets it back, basically. And I don't know if you want to explain it to them this way, but it's like there'll be situations where it's an external situation and you can't change it immediately. Like he can't get his Nintendo back immediately, right? So what does he do to release his anger in the meantime? If he holds his breath until he gets the Nintendo back, it bottles it up and it's really unhealthy. It can affect his sleep, it can affect his mood all day long, and he's already being punished. So there's no need to punish himself extra by holding in and repressing his anger. That's like double punishment, right? Because then the first punishment is he doesn't have his Nintendo. The second punishment is he's holding his breath and repressing his anger until he gets his Nintendo back, right? But he doesn't have to give, the external circumstances that much power. He can release his anger in a healthy way, just blow it out. He can reset his own mood. And there are a lot of times in life where you're not going to be able to change an external situation immediately. And it's really good to learn how to not allow your emotions to be controlled by those external situations, right? And release the blocked up energy. Just blow it out, just blow it out. Maybe do some stretching, find some kind of behavior that you can do that is going to help realign you and reset you. So that's what he doesn't know how to do. I don't know if he wants to hear it from you, but if he does, it could be an interesting, sort of teaching moment. If, but if not, then that's that. What can you do? So, but I mean, that's nice. You're giving them healings. So you're asking if when you healed your youngest in particular, was it clean? Like, were you in his space or not? Yeah, it was clean. It was. Yeah, when you give Marco healing, it's usually clean. You could just make sure your fourth is flowing and your sixth is flowing, and then your lower chakras are flowing. You know, with Marco, it looked like it was clean, but then with I don't like saying names. With your younger son, it looks like it was clean, but then with your older son, it looks like it was like you kept having to hop back out, you know, like pull yourself back. So just your heart chakra just kept like getting a little blocked. So just do a little quick chakra unblocking first. You know. All right. So thumbs up. Thank you for the thumbs up. Someone says, just had an argument with my father about job stuff again. I felt like crying, but got over it in 1 minute. You're a rock star. That's such a victory. Oh, what a milestone. Isn't that nice? You should be proud of yourself. You should be so proud of yourself. In the past, that might have tanked you for a week and a day. Ugh, such a victory. And it's not like he was going gentle on you either. So that just means you're a lot stronger. Good for you. Thank you so much for the healings over the years. That made all the difference. Woohoo! Yay! Good for you. You're a rock star. Confetti for boundaries with dad. Yay. Let's see. Where's my confetti? Do I not have confetti on this one? Oh, confetti everywhere. Well, we'll go back here so I have my confetti. Yay! Yay for boundaries with dad. Woohoo! Wow, rock star. That's great. Someone says thank you so much. I did have a mom goal that I have been struggling on. My oldest son has been having a hard time with his self-esteem, bunch of self-negative talk, and I'm having a hard time helping. Our talks seem non-productive. Try the park bench stuff. Especially, I mean, gender stereotypes are just that, stereotypes. Sometimes they're accurate, sometimes they're not, you know, but the stereotype is that guys prefer more the park bench community, you know, and women are more, you know, into the whole face-to-face in your eyeballs kind of talk, you know, but guys, and including boys, you know, stereotypically, you know, so if they conform to this gender stereotype, then they're more into just the park bench community. But, you know, a lot of sensitive people like park bench because it's like the person's less likely to be in your head, you know. So I would just say, you know, try to think of park bench communication when you're having the talk with him. Just, you know, like kind of look at some painting or something on his wall or something while you're talking. I think your talks are productive. They're just not as much as you would want. But like say before you talk to him, he's stuck on like 15 energy blocks. After the talk, he's stuck on 12 energy blocks. And then an hour after the talk, he's stuck on 10 energy blocks. So it's just not as fast as you want it to be. But he does clear energy by talking to you. And I think if you do the park bench stuff and work on your own grounding as you talk to him and don't like hold your breath until he understands something, just like have it be kind of like a chill out vibe more. Your angels say you're talking to him as if he's a daughter. Like stereotypically, girls and women, they might be more like small table, let's talk it out. Whereas stereotypically, guys might be more like, you know, chill out and while we play basketball, let's talk about on and off slightly, maybe sort of. But, you know, small table people can learn to be, you know, park benchers, you know, they can learn to adapt. Anyway. So they are productive. I've also tried asking his angels for classes, cleanouts, and affirmations. I feel like he built a wall between us and now feel helpless. I think I'm making it worse. No, you're not making it worse. Maybe I need to have my angels and his to agree on a plan. I think it will later come to me. Thank you. Well, I agree. It could later come to you, but I think you're thinking more head on, whereas I think they're suggesting more like indirect. You know, like, is there a hobby that he likes? Is there, maybe you guys go on a walk together, or maybe you just, teach him how to make a kind of food that he likes, just find something that he likes, you know. Like your angels want me to explain this for some reason, but so maybe it's directly or just indirectly related. But I always wish that maybe I could have been encouraged to cook when I was growing up. Like learn how to cook different foods and stuff. And, maybe you could point out that, in not that many years, he'll be on his own. And, this way he would learn how to cook some stuff and he could impress some girls with this good cooking, and as well as not starve and save a lot of money, if he knew how to cook. But maybe that's not his thing, but maybe he wants to learn how to cook one thing, maybe he really likes one thing, he wants to learn how to cook it. Or, if there's anything he wants to learn, any kind of skill, any kind of activity that someone enjoys, that love, it helps self-esteem. If you talk to someone directly about them having a self-esteem problem, no, that kind of triggers too much. But anything that they love, can help with the self-esteem. Unless, like, video games is a little, a lot of times people detach when they play video games, a bit like drinking alcohol pops people out. So that a lot of the growth kind of stops when you're out like that. But if it's any sort of engaged in body activity that he might like, could be nice. So I don't know if that helps, but yeah, some kind of indirect thing, not like a talk. A lot of people aren't talkers. So hope that helps. Okay, backtracking because I missed somebody's comment. Since this makes sense about astral travel. Yeah, astro is a dog in a cartoon. Astral is the adjective. So astral, astral travel. Astro, I think wasn't that the dog on the Jetsons? Their dog was named Astro. I must have had a lucid dream. I remember how it felt to whoosh and come back to my body taking a nap. That's cute. Yeah. Cool. La 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 la. Someone says, thank you for the healing, Janet. I feel like I have energetic weights on my ankles and I can't get rid of them. I've been working on it since the last healing. I feel like this is the past life stuff mixed in with ancestral things. So the weights on your ankles is in your physical body or your astral body? It's in your astral body. And yeah. There's agreements with them. That's why they're not gone yet. No invasive beings with them. There's agreements with them. From your mother, yeah. So I think it's this life. I mean, you may have other ones from past lives, but the ones I'm looking at are in agreement with your mom. Did you get them at conception from her? No. Did you get them when you were 1, when you're 2, when you're 3, when you were 4? When you're 4 years old in this life with your mother, there was some kind of subconscious agreement. You put them on you. Maybe you were running away too often. Sometimes moms, they get a little overwhelmed and they're like, Jesus Christ, what are you up to? It's like they look away for 2 seconds and you're dismantling an entire room of the house, or something. Just, whatever reasoning she had. But yeah, she put these little ankle controls on you when you were 4 and made you agree to them. So it's the agreement with her that is holding them in place. So you can just ask your angels. Angels, help me release these and help me clear the agreement. And that should be enough. So you can post more if there are other ones after those are gone, but you can try that first. This is thanks for the feedback, Janet. Oof, the mentioning of both your spouse and I having stuff we're not ready to deal with got me extra triggered. And that looks like the both of us courting the heck out of that. Yeah. that's kind of a, that's kind of something in the spouse handbook, like it's how you can tell the difference between like a rookie husband or a rookie wife and like a veteran husband or a veteran wife that's like learned a lot of lessons about that kind of thing, about partnership. And it could be husband and husband or wife and wife, in or whatever, non-binary people. I didn't mean to gender it, but it's like in the spousal handbook, it's like you gotta learn when to just leave it alone, give somebody their breathing space. Don't go through their dirty laundry. It doesn't matter if you can see it plain as day and they're pretending it's not there. You just gotta don't touch. Don't touch, don't point it out. If they're not ready, they're not ready, So yeah, that's something in the handbook for sure. Alrighty, let's see. Thanks again, Janet. You're welcome. Someone says, yes, HA is a medical abbreviation. I guess I was on autopilot typing. Well, see, thank you. You've educated us all. HA stands for headache, people. See, isn't that cute? So if anyone else wants to post fun facts like that about maybe the country that you live or, the city you live in, fun fact about your city or some abbreviation that we don't know or, some herb that you think we should know about, feel free to post a fun fact. I know once we got some fun facts about desert, what you can grow in the desert. So it's always interesting to have fun facts. As long as they're simple enough. Thank you, Janet. Just wondering what my angels say about the newest treatment that is to take place, which you mentioned in the survey. Should I continue to take old one as well? They tape their mouth. Like that's not something that I should speak on. They say your intuition is already accurate on that. So they would rather that I not comment on that because they're like, that's a real slippery slope if I comment on your medical procedures. Because I'm not always, clear enough to read it perfectly, especially after I just healed 141 people. So they just feel like it's a boundaries thing that you need to read your own medical issues and your own medical decisions. You can clear blocks in the way of your clarity for sure, but they seem to think that your intuition lately is pretty accurate about medical related decisions. But you can always work more on it if you want. Just keep clearing your blocks and maybe make energy healing flowers for clarity on medical issues, your personal medical issues. Clarity on medical decisions. Clarity on medical decisions. Angels, can you check my flowers and give them to yourself? Yeah. So I hope that helps. Someone's more celebratory emojis. And then someone says, hi, Janet. I'm working very hard on clearing my auras and chakras. Good for you. I feel I have made progress. Please share your insights and all the main areas I need to focus on. Thank you for the healing. I appreciate you. Okay. Well, one thing I would say is self-assessment. I like self-assessments these days, not Janet, tell me what to do things. So I can validate the differences, but I want you to figure out what you should do next and what you should focus on. I don't want to tell you what you should focus on. I used to do that kind of thing, but I feel like it sort of insults your potential, that I think, the more you test yourself, the more you improve, so test your own ability to assess what's next and what you should focus on. And then you could post that, post your self-assessment on what you need to focus on next. And then I would double check it for you. I definitely would do that. See, that way you get much stronger, faster. But anyway, so as far as your clearing auras and chakras, you just had a healing, so I have to look at you before the healing. I think, or did your kids have the healing this time? I think. Double check which. Ooh, and the family got the healing this time. Oh yeah, so you did just get the healing. Yeah, so I have to look at you before the healing. So say like yesterday maybe. Your auras are all whole. Your grounding's nice. Major chakras 7, 6. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's something a bit odd about the back half of 6 through 1 of your physical body chakras. Maybe you've been unblocking them and you look at both at the same time. So you look at 7 and 7 both as one composite, and you look at 6 and 6 as one composite. So you're not, that way you don't necessarily notice if, like, say the astral one is fine, but the physical one is blocked, because it's like, yeah, your auras are pretty fabulous, but then when I look, I separate out astral 7 and physical 7. Physical 6 through 1 are significantly, they're sort of like they're dipped in chocolate in the back third of them. You know, they just have these very noticeable blocks in the back third of so like, you know, this is the front, this is the back, so like this part is like dipped in chocolate. Sort of, you know, these significant blocks back here. And 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just of your physical body chakras, not your astral body. Your astral body ones are pretty fabulous in the back. So look at them separately, and that way you can notice more of the physical body ones separate, so that, you know, if there's just an issue with one side or the other, you know, one set, you'll notice it better. But you know, your astral body ones are really nice all the way down. 1 gets a little tight. 2 is a little tight too. So astral 1 and 2 is sort of like they're in a sock. You know, if you put stuff inside a big tube sock, you know, so like your first and second chakra of your astral body, they just look like they're in a tube sock. I think that's somebody's courting them. It's not your mother-in-law. I know that's your first suspect. Not your wife. Seems like your daughter is courting your first and your second chakra. Or are you courting her, or is she courting you? Who started it? I think she started it first. Courting your first and your second chakra. So you can wash her out. She's old. It won't help her. It won't help you. So, yeah. So a little extra uncording in first and second chakras of your astral body, and then 6 through 1 of physical body. You could unblock those more in the back. And look at them separate. But then as far as, what you should work on next, you should intuit that yourself with your angels. Okay. Someone says, I mean, one easy way is just, you know, you could use that short video playlist and just randomly choose one of those videos, you know, and be like, okay, this is what I should work on next. You know, I mean, it's hard to go wrong, you know. Someone says, I asked them, then they pointed the ones on my knees and a couple of devices. What's with the device on my lower tummy? I also can't get rid of it. It's in a log shape. All of these feel from this life astral body. I get mad when I can't clear it. LOL. Well, okay. So the ones on your knees, I guess you're going to do. Those are more your physical knees, it seems like, than your astral knees. It looks like you have these white boots on, like that are knee boots, knee-high boots. And they're not from your mom, though. Maybe I think at different times you've had boundaries with like best friends of yours. So they're from like an old best friend, I think. These white boots on your physical body, around your knees and ankles and everything. So you could just, I think that's another agreement You could just clear the agreement and take off the boots. Give them to your angels. The lower tummy thing, well, okay, that's two things. Okay, devices. Okay, if you see a device. All right, so let's see. Okay, if you see a device, right? Let's say, you know, some block around your knees, your ankles, your tummy, like in your case. Okay, so then, you know, you could be precise and say, okay, is it my astral body tummy or my physical body tummy? Okay, it's astral body, fine. So then, are there invasive beings around it, hooked into it, whatever? If so, get those recycled right away. Because I think that's part of how you're getting mad and everything, because they're invasive beings just trying to distract you and imbalance you by getting you all whipped up about it. So just get all the invasive beings invested in this device, connected to it, around it, looking at it, beneath it, under it, whatever, around it, you know, get them all gone. You know, angels can recycle all the invasive beings. And then, you know, are there any agreements, you know, between you and a person or, you know, whatever, to keep this, you know, between you and an old religion that you were a part of, you know, which seems that's the case. So it's like some kind of a past life religious thing, like a chastity belt idea. How's that for fun? Past life chastity belt for the win. Well, you know, we've all had those. The question is, how many of us still have those? So, yes, you don't need to keep a past life chastity belt. It is time. You can clear the baggage. You can clear the agreements with, you know, whatever past life dad and past life stepmom put a chastity belt on you. Ooh. So yeah, so I put that in the wrong order. So first it's invasive beings, and then it's first get the invasive beings out of the way by asking your angels to recycle them, and then check for if there are any agreements with them, with the device, and clear the agreements. And you know, melt the device, blow it up, hand it to your angels, whatever floats your boat. Okay, so isn't that fun? So so that was delightful. We should time to get rid of past life chastity belts. I mean, of course, we each decide when it is time, but perhaps it is time for any of us to get rid of past life chastity belts. Chastity belts, for those of you who speak 10 languages, but English is not like your first language, a chastity belt is, you know, a control that, you know, in some lifetimes, I guess they were physical belts that were like actually had a padlock that on a woman that, you know, so she couldn't have sex with anybody, you know, it'd be like iron underwear, you know, and so, but energetically, there can be those as well. I'm sure my mom gave me a couple of those growing up. Which I don't recommend to any parent, because as soon as I got them off spiritually, I was like the biggest whore in the world, which was a lot of fun. So I don't regret it, but it's like, I wonder if I would have had as much like sexapalooza for 10 years. Well, way more than 10 years. If I hadn't have had such a repressive childhood. But anyway, so I guess you can get rid of any chastity belts, not just past life. Oh, that's funny. Okay. All right. Well, I don't. Oh! I do have a gardening update. Okay, so not that I have been doing any gardening, but I've been planning it. I have goals and I'm planning. So I'm 20% there. But I'm going to continue my quest of trying to plant some perennials, even though it gets dark so early now and it rains almost all the time. In this time of year, in this time of the world, in this place in the world, I have purchased a headlamp. So, you know, even though it's dark, I'll see, it'll be like a flashlight right here and here. And then I've purchased a movable, lightweight, portable greenhouse. So it's like a roof with sides that I could set up and take down and move to another spot, and set up and take down and move to another spot. So the idea is it's like going to be, it's like how is it, like 6 foot by 8 foot. And so a lot of times I'll have a space in the garden that's about that big, and I'll have a lot of work to do there. I have to weed, I have to mulch, I have to, you know, plant stuff, and well, weed, plant stuff, and then mulch, you know, and it takes a lot of time and work because most of the time there's like crazy rocks that I have to get out, and, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then it gets dark so fast and it's always raining, and, you know, whatever. So at least this way, the rain and the dark won't be as much of a problem because I'll have my headlamp and I'll have my tent. Oh, and I need to buy a different lamp too. There's like a lamp that goes on a tripod that like is like more big. So it'll be like in the tent with me, you know, and then so it'll be all like illuminated, and there won't be any rain even though there's rain outside the tent. So I think that'll be kind of fun. We'll see. But, you know, it's worth a try. And then I can use that portable greenhouse, hopefully, also in the spring. And maybe it'll enable me to put out my tomatoes a little sooner, because sometimes we keep getting below freezing temperatures, like even though during the day it's totally warm enough, you know? And so if I have a greenhouse and I can move it to the garden bed where at least some of the tomatoes are, then I could put those tomatoes out sooner. So we'll see. But so anyway, I don't have that portable greenhouse yet, but it'll be here, you know, late next week. And I already have my little headlamp, and I got to get my other light, you know, so that's the plan. But, you know, I've told myself if I get any of it in the ground, it's a win. But even just trying like this is a win. I've already won. I'm a winner. Because last year I used to drive myself crazy, like thinking that I had to get it all done, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And not that serious. Okay. Someone says, thank you so much, Janet, for the algorithm. Oh, yes. Yes. So you're making a comment to help the YouTube think that this video is more legitimate, or this live stream. Yes. Thank you. So yes, if anyone watching could make a comment, whatever you want to say, I'll just wrap up. But, you know, you can have a comment if you want, and that way YouTube takes it more seriously. All righty. You guys are amazing. Pet update, there's not much to say. I mean, our kitten is still insanely adorable. And Lorenzo, you want to let the kitten out? Lorenzo, do you want to let the kitten out? Well, we'll see if the kitten comes out. But pet wise, we have not let our cat and our kitten interact directly much. Usually he's in a little, like, basically a cage when she's out and about, or he's in a room with my husband having fun, you know, but closed in. So they've had a few interactions which haven't gone great, you know, so we have them have sort of indirect activities now. Oh, he's sleeping, little baby boy. Oh, baby buddy. Oh, sleepy weepy baby. Mm. Good boy, aren't you? You sure are. Mm. He's so cute. So now he wants to go off and create some mischief and walk on my keyboard. So once Okay, let's see. So, but that's basically the gist. Oh, we brought our kitten to the vet recently. He did well. The vet just complimented our kitten. Pretty much that was the whole appointment. Because he's healthy, so there wasn't really much to talk about, I guess. He got a vaccination. Um, and Izzy, our dog, he's doing better. He doesn't have to wear his cone now, which is, well, he does at night. But if we can watch him, then he doesn't need to wear it much, which kind of proves probably that most of his allergies were seasonal allergies. He's still on allergy meds, though. I'm wondering if we should lower those. But anyway, so no drama with him, knock on wood, lately. And our feral cat, who we love very much, is BooBoo Kitty, and she's doing pretty well. She's still, displeased with our kitten, so Lorenzo wants the kitten to get big as her, so that if they do fight, that he's gonna not get clobbered. He'll be able to defend himself well enough. So he's almost as big as she is now. So maybe by the end of the year they'll be able to interact, and then maybe they'll learn how to coexist, which would be so much easier for us to just have both cats out and about all the time in the house. It'd be so much easier. But so far, it's fine. We have a system, where he'll be there, and she goes out everywhere in the house, and then she goes back in her room, and then he goes everywhere in the house, so yeah, it works. But anyway, someone says your kitty is loved, and Izzy too. That's right. And also BooBoo Kitty. BooBoo Kitty is our feral cat who we didn't know she was feral when we brought her in. She's been indoors for less than a year now. At the very end of last year is when we brought her indoors. We basically tricked her to come inside. We thought maybe she was a scared former stray, like somebody's pet. And it turns out we found out that she was actually, apparently that hoarder up the street, the cat hoarder up the street, she was born to some cat that he had that he didn't fix, and she was in that litter, and he got her fixed, but he didn't keep her indoors, and so I don't think she healed up right, and so he just let her out, and she never came back because the surgery was very scary for her, and so she never came back, and so she went feral, even though like in her first month or two she was around people. So that's why we got these mixed messages when we were feeding her and she was still outside in this little heated house in our carport. We thought maybe she was going to be like very socialized already to people, but turns out she was. I mean, I guess she was when she was a 2-month-old kitten or 2-week-old kitten, but the hoarder kind of messed it up. So, but whatever. We love her anyway. She makes like progress, really slow progress. She's peaceful. If you don't bug her, she doesn't bug you. It's cool. I can respect that. All right, everybody. Well, you guys are so amazing, and I hope you have a good whatever's next for you, morning, afternoon, evening, and you're amazing. Bye.